plan, oh grand and true, to bring back a custom just for you, a dowry's charm to rekindle the fire. In a world where romance might expire, he'd gather gold with wit and flair, pledging his heart beyond compare. For in the shimmer of that old dear gold lies a tale of love.
Welcome in, everybody. I'll give it a few minutes. While I'm waiting, I'll help myself to my homemade pound cake. A little bit of TradCon coming out, huh?
That's sincere, building bridges heart to heart, a timeless way to never part. He spoke of tales from times long past, when gestures grand made love last. With every coin,
That is one dry pound cake. Oh my God.
he'd prove his love in the soft moonlight. His dream was simple yet profound.
Hopefully we get some folks in tonight. Might be a quiet night for us.
Old traditions
Hopefully you can hear me too.
back around. For in the giving pure and sweet, two hearts would forever meet. Bring back the dowry.
I'm interested to hear your thoughts on City Crusher. Yeah, we're going to have fun with the City Crusher video tonight. I heard that there is a whatchamacallit in this chat. True? A whatchamacallit? Not that I'm familiar with. I'd be interested in that.
A timeless way to never part.
You mean like a possible spy? Is there espionage going on in my chat? If you're a spy for somebody else, I need you to tell me. Just say, hey, Shah. Yeah, I've been a spy for the TradCons all along. I'm sorry. They know all your talking points now.
Of tales from times long past,
So, yeah, good luck.
when gestures grand made love last.
There's one good piece of cake.
With every coin and jewel so bright, he'd prove his
The
love
recipe
in the
called for a
soft
cup of sugar,
moonlight.
and I instead only put a third of a cup.
Was simple yet profound.
So that makes me feel better about eating cake.
To bring old traditions back around.
That's not how spying works. You guys gotta tell me. Gosh, espionage. The history of espionage would be pretty freaking cool. Like, I wonder what the oldest historical example of espionage is. Was it some guy that, like, spied against Sargon of Akkad or something? Yo, Klaus, welcome in, man. Shout out to everybody. All right, we got a show now. What the hell? Oh, we haven't heard this one in a while. Some of the classics today. Keep your hidden chat secret.
Years ago when we tied the knot.
Oh gosh,
She was the jackpot.
one more song and we'll get it started after that.
But now I'm here.
People come or not, it's
Just
okay.
me and the breeze.
Thanks for the 6 likes
She's
out
got
there.
The house, the truck,
And
and even my keys. My pal Shah warned me, said get it and go. Don't let love blind you, boy, don't be so. But I shook my head, laughed him away.
I'm excited to watch the City Crusher video. I like his stuff. We got some funny stuff tonight. We got some funny stuff. The City Crusher is pretty, like, he'll make you laugh. You'd have to look into Mesopotamia and /or China when first recorded history was being written. Espionage has been around since the beginning. Like, yeah, I bet it has. Like, as soon as we had settled agriculture, I mean, as soon as war started, there was probably some espionage going on. There was some people selling out other people for some money. There was some other people pretending to be other people to help save their own people later on down the line. That was definitely probably happening. I would agree. I changed my gender to tuna, but started to drown when I tried to live as one, so I quit. Robert, I feel like your sentence there says so much, so fast and efficiently. It's like a dream. Like, it's like a dream. It just conveyed so much information so efficiently with some imagery that it was just beautiful. That could be a literal children's story. You can be putting your kid to sleep at night. Pull out that book from the shelf. Or hell, on the iPad. Because, you know. And it'll be called Timmy Becomes a Squid. And it's all about Timmy's journey. Oh, a tuna. I'm sorry. Not a squid. And the first third of the book could be him convincing himself he's a squid, you know. And then the second half can be him trying to live as a squid. And after the climax, you know, of this like Pinocchio level disaster, he can finally understand why trying to be a tuna. I keep saying squid. I keep imagining Timmy the squid, but Timmy the tuna. He can finally understand why it's such a bad idea. I'm sorry. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. That really dry pound cake now is getting harder to swallow with that. Thinking about Timmy the tuna. Like that Billy the Walrus book. According to some Transformer I heard debate the other day, that example doesn't hold water because it is a cross species, but that guy was a bit off, so there's that. I mean, I can see that, you know, that would be a reasonable thing to push back against it, but I think the imagery is pretty good, you know? It actually took a lot of water, Luke. I'm girthy. Oh, no. All right, well, I'm sorry. I keep eating. We got 7 people in here today, but that's okay, man. It's all good with me, man. We're going to have fun. Klaus is here. That's how you know you got a stream going. And we're going to be going over some fun stuff. I actually did my recording today with Glenn Lawrence and Gia McCool. So I did that earlier today. So if my voice sounds like I lost a little bit of it, then, well, that's why. But, you know, they'll edit that and put that out. So I wasn't sure if it was going to be a streamer recording. But, you know, when they release it, I'll share it with everybody. I'll share it with everybody in the Discord. Timmy the tuna. Cake with coffee is best. It is. It is quite nice. Yeah, I'm sure that would be pretty good. I got tea with half and half in it. It's okay. It's the Watch Shah Munch stream. But yeah, we got a couple of videos. So this is a video from City Crusher. And I like City Crusher. I don't know. I feel like I think he kind of understands it. Like, he seems to kind of point out gynocentrism and where it's at, and he does a pretty good job of that. I have been personally enjoying his videos. So this video is about a person who changed their gender. Okay? The guy's channel name is Ramblin' Transman. So to give some quotes, or not some quotes, but some credit, you know, This is okay, female to male. So he basically, transitioned into a man, and he kind of became like RP aware. So it's interesting because there's someone who lived as a woman and then they became a man and they realized that it's not what everybody kind of said it was like, at least to whoever he was listening to back then. So City Crusher breaks this video down. We probably could have watched his video, but City Crusher's commentary is really cool and I think it's worth listening to. So, we'll watch that. Then I have 2 videos from Dr. Todd Grande. If you look at my recommendations, it's nothing but Dr. Todd Grande. 4 recommendations, 5, 6, 7, 8. I love listening to this guy's channel. Like, he just has this really calm, mellow voice, and he just talks about like true crime. And I was listening to some of these and I was like, you know what? This one had a little bit to do with child support. So it was talking about how like this woman manipulated wealthy men to fund her luxurious lifestyle, through child support and stuff. And I just thought there were some lessons there. This one was also pretty good. Friends with Fire Pit. So a Friends with Benefits firefighter has homicidal reaction to pregnancy. And I don't know why. There was another one I wanted to react to, but I couldn't find it. And it was about this guy with 4 kids who had a Friends with Benefits and he like destroys his life. But this guy did the same thing, kind of. And, this whole thing about like being a matador in the ring and you're just out here spinning plates and everything's tight and yeah, it's all good. I kind of just wanted to show a disaster story. Like sometimes when the plates fall, the consequences can be dire. So, we were going to watch that and I just thought it'd be interesting. So, this is going to describe some simpery. We're going to learn about simpery. And this one is kind of the main pull of the show. So that's what we'll be doing. Next week, we're going to start probably a 3-part stream because this thing is so long, but it's a video about, I believe she's a feminist. So it's going to be kind of a nails on chalkboard for 3 weeks. I'm sorry. But she takes apart some of the evolutionary biology arguments that a lot of red pillars use. So I think it'll be interesting for us to listen since it's kind of coming from the other side. We'll see what they got to say about it. And maybe we can have a discussion on where evolutionary biology is maybe stretched a little bit too much to kind of justify things or try to prove things in the manosphere. So that'll be fun. So we'll do that. So yeah, that's where we're at. So we got Glenn Lawrence and Gia McCool. We got that collab coming out soon. And then I'll have another one next week, actually. And it might be a co-stream. I'm going to double check that. And I'll put up a stream premiere for that. So that'll be Saturday around like 1-ish. So I don't... Well, I probably will do a stream that night too. Whatever. But yeah, but it'll be at like a different time. So I don't really, expect the usuals to be there. But maybe when you see who the collab is with, you guys might want to try to make it. So, yeah. And then we got other collabs coming down the line. I do got to follow up with some folks I'm supposed to collab with. And then we got some fun collabs going on in March. So yeah, we're going to have some collabs coming out. Some sweet, sweet collabs. Yo, Mr. Pitt, shout out to you, man. Good to see you. Avalanche. As men, we are remotely surprised that she winds up getting crap on the entire time. Not that I have ever seen the video. That's just my prediction. Well, that's a pretty good prediction. Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty good prediction. So, yeah, we're gonna watch that. I actually don't give evolutionary biology the weight so many want men to give it. There is some truth to it, but it is overemphasized way too much. Yeah, I think so also. And I think some parts of it are a little stretched out. Like, I can understand the sort of animal nature of everything, but, we also live in a society. So it's not like, I think it has its place and all that, but I haven't watched that video, but I had it recommended to me by a couple of folks, and they said it was pretty good and that she did a decent job. So I want to give it a chance, and I think it'll be fun. Yeah. Evolutionary biology pretends people have free will and can choose their actions. We're not animals. Or that they don't have free will. Yeah, pretends that we don't have free will. Yeah, there's that level to it too. I think sometimes the evolutionary biology thing can sometimes be stretched out a little too much to be like, men were always the providers and women are seeking this and that. Maybe not all the time, but I feel like it gets there a little bit. And then, looking at things like the dowry, it's like, wait a minute. Both men and women acted hypergamously when selecting a long-term match. So Evo bio people might say, well, just women are hypergamous and women's hypergamous nature. But it's like, looking at history, you can make the case that men were hypergamous as well and should be again. So, Evo, but if you're going to be like, oh, Evo bio says just women are hypergamous and that's just women's nature. So that's something to think about a bit, at least. And so maybe this video will help us form some better thoughts on that. So that'll be ideally next week, but if my my stream or my collab stream is a little bit too much, then I might push it to the week out after that. So just to give you guys a brief itinerary of where this train is headed for the next few weeks, that's pretty much it right there. There's a lot of nuance to the symbiotic relationship between men and women. I think that's true. I think that's definitely true. Okay, well, hey guys, we're 17 minutes in. All right, we'll get to the fun. Anytime a dude thinks one girl is prettier than another, he is being hypergamous. I've seen some creators in the space make that same claim as well. The bigger, better deal, right? The younger, hotter chick. I think John from It's Complicated has asked that before. Even Matt Cross from 33 Secrets, he has a video. I actually bookmarked it because I was like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll react to that. And it's right here, male hypergamy exposed. And he just talks about, hey, are men hypergamous? Can they be hypergamous? So now listen, I'll be honest. Me personally, the younger, hotter chick, I don't think I think that comes from the same instinct in some ways, looking for the bigger, better deal. But when I look at hypergamy, I look at the strict definition of hypergamy of applying to marriage. And I believe that's even what the word comes from etymologically. Hypergamy, gamy coming from gamos, which is like ancient Greek for marriage. Yeah, it's literally hyper above gamos marriage. I mean, so it really has to do with marriage. But we were just talking about Evo bio and stretching out definitions. So hypergamy is actually another thing that has been kind of co-opted and stretched out as far as the definition of the term, but in the strict academic sense, like, that's kind of the thing too, man, is like, and it's not that it isn't useful. I mean, I think it has its uses, but there can also be consequences, is that we have a bunch of, you could say, academic amateurs in the space. And I don't mean that as an insult. We're all trying to figure things out, and good ideas and insights can come from anywhere. But sometimes when you pick up an academic term and you start pointing it around wildly and firing it and using it, it's kind of like a sorcerer's stone, like when Mickey gets the wizard's wand and he starts creating all this chaos. So I think there's a little bit of that. There's a little bit of that there. Just to be, precise. Well, there used to be dowry hunting, just saying. Exactly. Yeah, and men would reject marriages with it's not even, dowry hunting is one thing. That's for sure hypergamous. But they were also pushing back on hypergamy on the other side, because it's like if she didn't have a commensurate dowry with their station, they would reject that. And likewise, they would be trying to get the biggest dowry they could, foist from the market. So yeah, it's hypergamy from both sides, and hypergamy against hypergamy is what checks hypergamy. So, fun stuff. You got to find the girl with the richest dad. Exactly. Oh man.
And there's nothing more important than marrying a wealthy woman. As you get older, I'm going to teach you tricks.
Oh man, I miss these sound effects. We had to wait a whole 2 weeks. Home from a night out of drinking, man. I'm relatively sober. Well, hey man, I'm glad you're home safe and that you're feeling better. Hopefully you got some good food you can eat and just chill out with till you fall asleep. 2 glasses of wine and chilling with the homies. I stayed gaming like Dontavius preaches. Dude, very much so.
You gotta stay gaming, bruh. Don't focus on no girl. Just stay gaming.
That's what I've been doing, man. I've been enjoying the gaming lately. I really have been playing a lot of Legend of Zelda. Okay, so on to City Crusher. City Crusher, man, I like his channel. I think he's going to be steadily growing in the space. And he's a bit more, men's rights. Not even just men's rights, but I think he's pretty like anti-gynocentric. And look at all these red bars. I've just been binging his videos lately. Like even stuff from years ago. He had a really good video about this documentary about what it was like in Sparta, ancient Sparta. And it's good stuff. Here's another video I kind of wanted to react to. A woman dates other women, suffers for it. So kind of similar to this video we're watching today, but we'll just do one video for a night. So yeah, we're gonna have fun with this, guys, and then we're gonna watch our Dr. Grande videos, and everything will be swell. So shout out to City Crusher and this guy Ramblin' Trans Man who made the initial video. So let's see what happens about this person stepping into a man's role and their experience with that. So let's go ahead and watch that. Oh, great.
Hey guys,
My computer's being weird. Okay, there we go. It was like playing it without showing it.
Nebula found me this.
Okay.
Hey guys,
there we go.
Nebula found me this channel, the Ramblin' Trans Man.
You can hear that.
And again, it shows you trans men find out the hard way what the male experience actually is. This isn't the first video I have that's involving trans men. But
wow, I mean, I don't think I've ever really seen a video about this subject. I know there's like that one famous lady that did a documentary or something, and she tried to dress up as a man or live like a man, and she became pretty depressed about it. I can't remember her name. I feel like if Male Space was here, he would have put that in the chat. But that's the only story that is kind of similar, and that one reminded me of it. So
I'm going to get into what he has to say, and I'll correct him for the few things he gets wrong, okay? Because the things he gets wrong is very important.
Oh, my microphone.
Oh, by the way, this is how well testosterone changes women into men. I would never know he was a trans man.
Honestly, sorry, I got all this dry cake in my mouth. I wouldn't have known either, man. I mean, if I was just looking at this guy for face value, I mean, the beard and everything, like, I wouldn't have known.
He's 100% looks and sounds like a guy.
There's some feedback, so I'm gonna have to probably put music in the background.
And honestly, that makes me take what he's saying more seriously, because like, like, since I couldn't tell, like, this guy really did probably live like a guy and deal with what it's like to be a guy. So this is all pretty good. Also, guys, I think we should just accept that the audio is probably not going to be the best. So
to reduce it, but I wanted to use it anyways, so hopefully it turns out all right. But so this video is going to be a little intro into how I was red pilled as a transsexual trans man.
Man, right out with it. Like, becomes a trans man and ends up becoming red pilled. It's like, wow.
So in other videos on my channel, I've already explained sort of what that means. I was born female, transitioned 12 years ago, live as a dude. And let me tell you, the process that I went through with one of my long-term exes during that transition period is what kind of woke me up to the difference between dating women as a female and dating women as, well, more of a male.
Yeah, of course. Women don't like men, dude. Right? So they respected you as a female, as one of their own, and now you're the member of the opposing team.
Even though I know I'm not 100% male and I'm never going to be.
You're male in the way that it counts.
Yeah, I agree with City Crusher there. I mean, he's honestly like, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to tell. So it's like, I know when this guy walks outside and, you know, goes to the gas station or goes to any cashier or whatever the hell he's doing, you know, he's dealing with it. Yeah, this dude was a chick. He definitely takes it seriously. I'll respect his pronouns. I mean, me too, but for me, it's not even taking conscious effort to respect the pronouns. It's just like, yeah, it's a dude. Yeah, it's a guy. You know what I mean?
You appear male. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
Because it's our visual that makes, that tells us how we're going to react to the person, right?
The programming that I believe all of us have when it comes to the sexes started to come out in that relationship, especially towards the end.
But it's not really programming, dude. This is an innate. People just, once they hit puberty, we become subhumans.
You know, this whole thing reminds me of someone that It's Complicated, John from It's Complicated interviewed. And I wish I could remember what episode it was, but he had this episode and he interviewed, it was like a lesbian woman, but you know, it was like the guy's role, you know, of the equation. And like her answers were like good. Like she actually understood what was going on. So this person reminds me of them. This is when you get a large bucket of popcorn and just enjoy the commentary because being a guy is a tough life. Yeah. Yeah, I watched this before, but I forgot a lot of it. But I just remember thinking on so many points, I was like, yeah, this is like nothing makes it clearer than this. And this is someone who was on both sides of the fence, truly, you know?
You know, we worship women and we despise men, male or female. That's the way it is. You're not going to deprogram this.
Yeah, there it is. The gynocentrism. So she became a he and immediately learned what gynocentrism is, basically. Yeah, the whole thing with this is the onus is on them to get to a place where they pass as whatever, you know, gender they want to be, not banking on people pretending playing along. Yeah, exactly. Honestly, I am still glad I am me. I like me. Yeah, that gets into the whole conversation of detransitioning. There was a subreddit called dtrans, r/dtrans. And man, that's an eye-opening subreddit because there are people in there that share their stories about how they were kind of taken in by the culture, I guess, of it. And they wanted to transition. And then when they did, like, it just was not good for them. And then they decided to detrans and it's better. But some of their stories are pretty crazy. Maybe we'll visit that subreddit after this.
Of people.
And it really messed with me for many years after. And it wasn't until I became a long-haul truck driver and I had time to kind of get lost on the, online manosphere, YouTube.
Why would you look up?
Becomes a man, deals with it for a long time, ends up discovering the manosphere. I mean, shout out to the manosphere. It was only a matter of time. It was only a matter of time.
But the manosphere, you know why? Because your sisterhood is for the sisters, right? And you're all alone and you realize, wow, I'm being gaslighted. And
exactly. Like, where was the nurturing sex when this person needed help? Like, and he probably realized he could not go back there or that they didn't care to help with that, One of those divorced ladies that were sniffing around, yeah, she has a daughter that transitioned to a man. I said, why in the hell would anyone do that? Life as a man sucks. She was confused. You and me both. I am happy. Best thing in the world is being able to look into the mirror and like the guy staring back at you. Yeah, you know, and that's why I think it's especially tough for the kids because, you know, kids go through phases and stuff, and it's like, how do you not know it's just some phase? Like, if I look back to my own childhood, I was incredibly, like, self-conscious about myself for a long time. It took a while for me. And, you know, but once you kind of get out of that, then it's just like, then you're just like, oh, wow, why was I ever worried about that? And then you could learn to really enjoy life and be comfortable and with how the body you have. I mean, that's part of living, in fact. The Charlie chick who debated Andrew Wilson is the chick who hit Control Z. Oh, okay. Is that recent one that was like a viral clip? That was going around. So she was someone that had transitioned and then she went detransitioned back into a woman. I think I know who you're talking about. Or at least I think I know which. I wonder if he watched This Is Shah detransition anyone. Oh man. Shout out to you, Michael San. Good to see you, man. Okay, so let's move back in.
Lied to. Now I'm being gaslighted and lied to. It's not the way I thought it was going to be. So you start looking for manospherian content, right?
Channels that I started to connect the dots into why, even though both of us were political and we understood the ethics of... Anyways, I don't even know how to talk about this because I haven't...
You stop there. Yeah, you're both feminist, right? So you're both part of a man-hating group. Now you're a man, and you're saying, wow, this isn't working out.
I mean, you know, it's probably tough. I think a CD Crusher's words, you know, get to the heart of the matter and could be, you know, maybe tough to listen to. I did see that this guy commented down there and said he appreciated his feedback. So that was good. But yeah, I can imagine, like, it's one thing probably to be a guy and deal with it. Well, it does suck. But to maybe have railed against men for a while and then became one and then realized that, oh my gosh, all of that probably was not true. It's probably just, who knows, you know. W saying, yep, the viral clip chick, she started going to male but hit Control Z to stay female. Well, yeah, I mean, she's probably grateful for that decision, especially if she did it before any kind of like permanent body altering kind of surgeries or anything. What up, everyone? Happy New Year. Hey, Happy New Year to you, man.
I haven't really talked about it to people except for maybe one or two guy friends because I know that red pill stuff is not is demonized and seen very negatively in the trans and LGBT and feminist communities.
Oh gosh, yeah, I bet. You know, I'm sure they're not fans.
Yeah, they're all part of a hating movement. That's what feminism is. And everybody joined up in the LGBT, right? That includes the gay men who are also hated because they're male.
And even though I don't, you know, agree with everything that I came across.
By the way, being pro-male is to be hated, right? People want you to know your place, dude. You are not even a citizen, not a second-class citizen. You are not a citizen.
If you come out as pro-male or like standing up for men's rights, like you may as well just like become a warlock. Like it's the new she's a witch. You know what I mean? Like he's a witch. Burn him. You know what I mean? Like you may as well just get a warlock's hat and a black gown thing and just call it, you know. So
there's a caste system for the sexes. There are the women who are the citizens, and then there are us, and we aren't. And we don't have the same rights as they do.
across in the manosphere. I did spend about 3 years listening to a lot and learning a lot about the different groups within that. And so I guess what I will say is I was wrong about a lot of things.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah. You know, I gotta give this person their flowers. Hey, shout out to her. Shout out to this gentleman. Shout out to Ramblin' Trans Man right here. Thank you. Thank you. You know, it feels kind of good to hear that. Like, I appreciate that. You know, I appreciate that. I hit Control V hoping to get a female part, but instead grew another male one. I must have accidentally hit Control C first. Uh-oh.
When I was a political lesbian before transitioning.
Okay, yeah. So see, so she was like active politically. So she was a political lesbian. This girl was definitely a gold pillar.
I didn't understand the plight of guys because I didn't experience it, and all I knew was what it was like to be left out.
You know, and I actually don't know the extent to which she lived out as a, like, I don't know if this person was married and divorced. I think, you know, he mentions having a couple of relationships or whatever, but you know, I don't know if he can have kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, unless he like married in and adopted somebody or some kind of sperm donation, they can then live it that way. But this is someone who realized all that stuff, and I don't even think they ended up getting married and going through the divorce court. This is just from like the front end. Like, this is just the front end of living as a man in general. Like, I don't even think this touched family law or that whole can of worms. So, and they're already like, yeah, you were right.
Our plight, that the lives of men are there for everyone to see. You simply denied it. You denied it as a woman because it benefited you. And it would take empathy to look at another group of people who aren't like you and say, okay, can I put myself in their shoes? You weren't empathetic towards men. And now you're a man, you're expecting everyone to become empathetic. Like, sorry, Ramblin', it doesn't work that way.
I could only imagine the like, oh my gosh moment this person had. And then like, it's one thing to like understand that for your own life. Then you think about like the disaster that is society and just how this, like, I think this person could probably see it pretty clearly. Just how wherever the heck this train is heading right now is not to a good place, and how bad it really is, you know? Patriarchy didn't work out as he thought, I would guess. Yeah, what happened to all the privilege, you know?
You're expecting the world to turn upside down for you alone.
Of guy spaces, looking back, a lot of my my issues towards men had to do with subconscious trauma that I went through when I was younger of being rejected. I had guy friends when I was young, but after my first puberty and bullying that happened in middle school, my guy friends basically abandoned me. And so there's a lot of unresolved stuff with that, feeling left behind. And in some ways, I don't really blame those guys. I mean, they were really young and they didn't want to be bullied, you know, with me for being different.
Well, that's true, God.
Oh, so it sounds like when she was younger, then she realized she was different in that way. I don't know. I mean, you know, yeah, but, you know, kids and all that stuff can leave a lasting impression and can suck. Who knows? Like, I mean, you know, obviously we don't know what the other guys were dealing with, but
that's some understanding right there.
It's also that, but you know, sometimes like it could have been the bullying, but it also could have been, you know, himself. Like, he was probably just like, well, I'm this, and this is what you need to understand about me. And then all the friends were like, man, you know, we really tried to like understand all the stuff you want us to understand, and it's kind of just getting annoying now, so we don't want to hang out with you anymore. I'm not saying that's what happened, but like, I could see that being the case where it was like they were never able to be understanding or accepting enough, which is like what happens a lot with the LGBT community writ large. And that's kind of how, you ended up with Trump, because finally enough middle of the road people were annoyed at being told they weren't like doing this right and that they're just horrible people and they may as well be Hitler, because of that. And then they're just like, all right, the hell with it. We'll just vote for the way other side and screw you. You know what I mean? This could almost be a microcosm of that, but I don't know. I'm just putting out a possible other speculation. You know what I mean? As a teen, yeah, it gets obnoxious for sure.
There. So you're on the right road, right? This is the life experience of men right here. There's a hierarchy, and it's about sadism, right? The bullied guys, the guys at the lower end are there to be abused, right? And no one works to change that.
Different. So, and then also my envy and competition, because I was attracted to women and I seemed to be more attracted to straight women because of my trans identity. I didn't.
I shout out to him for that, the envy and the jealousy. So, that I can see that being a reason for the man hating, because there's a resentment there for not being a real man, quote unquote, I guess.
Know this at the time, but
the straight women were probably better looking too. Like, come on, and presented themselves more feminine. Let's be honest.
I was very envious and jealous of guys, and it wasn't just because they ended up dating or hooking up with the women that I was interested in. Even if I ended up being with the same women before or after, what I envied was the experience of being in a male body with them.
Well, dude, here you are. Not much to envy, is there?
I don't know why this conversation kind of reminds me of like looks maxers. There's been talk about that. Like, this is almost like a radical kind of looks maxing regimen here. You know what I mean? But it's coming from like a different angle. It's not just about being some guy that wishes he was 6 feet, so he goes through leg surgery or whatever it is, so he can get all the ladies or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like there's some weird parallels to that. So she was envious of not having the male body. And then, on the other side, sometimes there's these look maxers who are envious that they don't have this kind of idyllic version of a body or something.
It just goes to show you a lack of understanding of the other side, right? I think lesbians, I've met quite a few, and they're all like this. They all look at us and think our lives are great, right? They blame us for taking all the girls. But dating women as a man is a kick in the crotch. There's nothing to envy. It's just continual work for continual rejection. It damages you spiritually.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's a lot of people's experiences. It's just like trying to figure out how to get that girlfriend or whatever. That is fairly typical of an experience for a lot of men. She has this added layer of being a biological woman, but in some extent there is this kind of what he's describing back when it was a young woman, but is desiring these attractive women, like City Crusher says, probably feminine presenting women, and not being their first choice, so to speak, and having trouble getting them. This is the ultimate looks maxing. Wow, that's true. It's rejection until acceptance, followed by an eventual rejection anyways. Orem.
And emotionally. Look at your face. You're a perfect example of it.
So after going to therapy and, dealing with the trans stuff, that's when I developed compassion a lot more for men, and And
Well, hey man, shout out to him for the compassion. Well, we could appreciate that, you know. We got to give credit where it's due.
you know, for myself in that regard. But before that, I did have a period of what you would call, I guess, political lesbianism, or, you know,
Man hating.
Yeah. Yeah, man hating is probably the most succinct way to put that. Political lesbianism. I don't know if I've heard of that before, but yeah, it sounds like it would be pretty similar to man hating.
That's where you're going to get it wrong. It's man hating. That's what political lesbianism is.
doing the whole
That's a tomato.
social justice warrior kind of queer.
Oh, social justice
thing.
warrior. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, it was man hating.
Doing the whole social justice warrior kind of queer thing. And I was of the belief that women were victims completely.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, see, he was under the gynocentric just gaslighting basically, and you know, was just this is, I don't know why. This is just such a unique thing to see. Something about this video, like, I don't know, something about this one is truly special.
Not completely. They weren't victims at all. At all.
There we go. Yep. That's what I like about City Crusher, man. He gives it straight. He cuts right to the heart of things.
There's the only women's issues are medical issues that don't affect men, like ovarian cancer. But every other so-called issue that women have either doesn't exist at all, like the wage gap, or it affects men more. Like Ramlin, the vote, right? You guys always jump back to the vote. Women didn't have the vote. Men didn't either.
Yeah, that is the thing that's crazy. It's like men were just voting for everything the whole time. It's like, you mean when it was a monarchy? Like, no. Come on.
Average,
yeah,
lower class man didn't get the right to vote. And know what happened?
Or middle class.
They had to put their names on conscription, right?
Yeah.
To be drafted for the men to get the vote. And the women just demanded it and got it.
Yep.
So the men lacked the same rights as the women of that time, of 1820, right? Or sorry, 1920, when the women finally got the right to vote, right? It was only about a decade after the men. So the men had fewer rights than women back then.
Yeah, but somehow there's like, there's like 5,000 years of reparations or whatever you want to call it that's owed.
So you're just
the whole time the men, and nobody in there was just 5,000 years of oppression. Oh my gosh,
wrong about this.
And that I just didn't understand evolutionary psychology. I didn't understand there's
the Evo psych. Oh, here comes the intersexual dynamics.
Or what is it? Intrasexual dynamics between men and women. Because when you're in the gay community, lesbians and gay men are kind of equal in a lot of ways, where a lot of straight people don't experience that. I mean, I know some that do, but I think the majority of straight people, they don't have that solidarity, that subconscious solidarity of being the same sex with your partner. There's
Well, that's interesting. That sounds like a little window into what that side of things entails.
It has less to do with with being the same sex and being female, period, right? Because you found out, hey, your male friends abandoned you when you needed them, right? There really isn't any male solidarity.
That's an interesting point right there. Sort of a sad thing. I would, hate for that to be the case. I hate for it to think it's every man for himself out here, but I think with the cultural conditioning, sometimes it leads people to be that way, which is unfortunate. Sometimes, I think John from As Complicated as Asked, like, how is it that women were able to collectively get together and fight for their rights, but men seem to be having trouble doing that? And, you know, men are supposed to be the logical ones that solves problems.
More antagonism because of the difference in those reproductive strategies of each sex. And so, for instance, when I was a
This has nothing to do with reproductive strategies. This is one of the main issues, or I should say ideas, red pill ideas you get a dump, right? Ramlin, if a guy gets together with a gorgeous woman and finds out she's barren, does he dump her and say, oh, I love you, I get along with you, you're beautiful, I can have sex with you, but you can't produce children? No, he just deals with it. Maybe they'll adopt, right?
Well, especially if he's married and he's got something to lose. That's a tough one. You know, I think some guys would. Probably depends when they find out. Typically in general, I would say probably a less chance, but you know, that's a hard one. I do like that City Crusher points out some of the sort of red pill stuff there that, you know, may or may not be, you know, good. I think he comes from a men's rights side of things. PUA strategy is a competition, not a group effort. Yeah, and see that is a difference between men's rights and PUA. Right there, you know, is collective effort versus individual.
But people do not care about reproduction outside of having children to take care of them. And modern living has made that obsolete. Right? Well, it hasn't, but it feels like it. Right? You know, as long as everybody else is having children, you can afford not to.
Men have brotherhoods. It is real. But when it comes to women, all out war. Yeah, that's a good point. That's the unfortunate thing. I mean, like, I want to believe there's some camaraderie, you know. Like I'd like to think there used to be male spaces, you know, but yeah, you know, when you throw, you know, there's that old black and white video and it's interviewing guys inside of a bar and they have like a female journalist there. And it's like right after they changed the laws, I think it was in England or something, to where women would be allowed to go into the bars also, because it used to be like there would be these men only pubs or whatever. And all the guys they interviewed were just like pissed off. You know what I mean? So I think there were spaces like that where guys would get together and hang out, you know, and that kind of sounds fun, you know. Let me see if I can find that video. Men only bars interview. Damn it. Come on, please find it. Damn it. Oh, there's nothing but just black and white women being allowed to go. All right, well, we're not going to find it. But dang it, man, it used to be on YouTube. Well, that sucks. Men being interviewed about women being allowed in men-only bars. Dang it. Oh, is this it? I may have found it. Oh, yeah, I think this is it. Dang, why does nothing want to... Okay.
Women are certainly a rarity in here.
1974.
Women are certainly a rarity in here. The policy is that they're not encouraged into the public bar. If they walk in, they're advised that the saloon is available to them. This morning, though, the barmaid has made an exception, and she's agreed to serve me. Thank you very much. Well, that's met with no reaction. Do you object to me being served alongside?
I don't know why this is funny. It's just funny because it's like the guy's like, okay, there's a woman, and he just proceeds to like keep doing what he's doing and not say anything. And of course, she has to ask, like, do you object to me being here? Like she's trying to get a little bit of a rise.
Do you hear, sir? Do you object to people like me walking in and having a drink here amongst you?
Well, that's not the objection, but I think myself that the place for women is the saloon bar or the lounge.
Why? What's
Why aren't men anymore?
wrong with us? We're not doing you any harm in here.
Well, I mean, if I want to talk or...
Yeah, I'm trying to talk to the boys, man. We're just trying to have a conversation with the guys, and there might be some things you don't want to hear. Like now I gotta sit here and make sure I don't burp out loud and, you know, try not to cuss or whatever.
Swear or something like that.
Cussing is bad. Yeah, he even mentions it. Look, he mentions about the
What's
cussing.
wrong with us? We're not doing you any harm in here.
Well, I mean, if I want to talk or swear or something like that, and there's a woman standing behind me, you can't, can you?
Why?
See, why aren't men respecting women anymore? Because the place for men to like exhaust all of their, you know, that kind of stuff is gone. So everybody's got to be on their best behavior.
You just don't, you can't or don't. Put it that way.
All right, sir. I'm sorry I took your place, I think, when I pushed in.
Yeah, but you're not getting me.
You don't mind me being here, do you?
I do.
Why?
Man, what a different world, huh?
Because you don't shout. You're only drinking water.
Well, I'm drinking water because I'm working, but I don't mind you drinking beer.
So why should you be next to me?
Well, you'd feel happier if there was a man next to you, would you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't mind you.
See, he figured it out. Just start hitting on him.
It's just women in general, is it?
Oh, I love them all. I can say F's and B's and C's in here where there's only men.
You think women are going to be shocked by your language? That's why you don't want them in here, is it?
Well, we all... Well,
Sorry, guys. I'm just entranced by this charming footage.
let me put it this way. We put a restraint on ourselves.
You're afraid of women.
You're afraid of women. He's trying to say, listen, we're just trying to be courteous, and we feel like we gotta just kind of muzzle ourselves a bit, so we can't truly unwind, which is why we came here, right? And like, so you're afraid of women? She's like misinterpreting it.
Well, you must be afraid of us hearing your language.
Well, perhaps we're decent people and we don't like swearing in front of women.
There you
What
go.
would you do, sir, if women walked in here en masse?
Mass?
You'd walk out, would you?
It's so crazy that like bars used to be a place where you would go to get away from women, and then somehow it became a place where you go to try to pick up women, or at least, you know, that's what became the club culture in the bar scene. More recently, but I don't know, man. Listen, man, I'd be okay with bringing back the men's clubs, you know?
Yeah. My word.
If I come in here to enjoy my drink, I come in to enjoy my drink.
Yeah, I'm trying to enjoy my drink and not hear none of this, are you afraid of women stuff? You know, yeah, right back to the shaming. Like, she's literally in there for like less than a minute and immediately like just... I think men need public spaces where they can be removed from women, mainly gyms, in my opinion. Yeah, I think gyms would be another good one, you know?
I don't give a hang who is here.
So you think the bar should be
I'm going to
open?
say a public bar is for the public. Women are the public. Men are the public. So that's
Well,
what...
one of your public is molesting me while you're talking. Could you...
One of the public is molesting me while you're talking. Well, I mean, maybe... See, I don't know. Maybe go to the women's only bar.
Take your hand away from me, sir.
It's not my hand, it's only my finger.
Well, just
It's not my hand. It's... Oh, my God.
move your finger, will you? And I can go on.
Well, you asked us what happens when a woman comes in. Turn it up. Let up, Bill.
I won't let up.
She asked what happens when a woman comes in.
Oh,
I'm
my God.
showing her.
And you got alcohol mixed in it. Oh, no. Oh, no. This is, you know, foreshadowing something. Creating chaos and stir up drama. Gyms would be great. Yeah, and then, you know, pay attention to me. That's all I hear. Yep.
Bill and myself don't appreciate it. That's where the fight started. If it wasn't Bill, it would be me. It'd knock him over. And that's where...
Look, as far as women's lib is concerned, it's
It's what?
RS as far as I'm
Well,
concerned.
that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Now, you were
But-
going to...
Also, these guys were all ambushed. They're all like 3 drinks in. So now they got to sit here and have this political conversation, and they're all inebriated.
Gonna swear, weren't you?
Yeah.
You can't because there's a woman there. Okay, that's exactly what I mean.
But I mean to say,
Don't tell me.
well, you go home. You go home. You control your own language in your home, don't you?
I control my language everywhere. I don't swear.
Yeah. Righto. But if a woman wants to come in the bar,
Have you ever seen
public
any
bar,
winos here at 6 o'clock in the morning?
if a woman,
Right.
If a woman wants to come in the
A woman
bar
wants to come in
and
the morning,
drink, righto, fair enough. She's willing to put up with that language, what goes on.
Just coming into the bar up here, I think, is a lady who was a barmaid and who knows quite well what goes on in the bar, and she wants to drink in a public bar. Now, if I can call you down here, madam.
Okay, now we got another one.
What about me? You going to call me?
I think we've heard enough from you. These gentlemen down here reckon that if a
This is
woman
the barmaid.
comes into a public bar, she's causing disturbance, the men can't swear, and therefore, you know, she's putting a terrible clamp on them. Now, you were a barmaid in a public bar.
I have been a barmaid in a public bar, yes. And I'd say, from my point of view, a woman enters a public bar at her own risk.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's fair.
That's right. I'll listen to anything that anybody else says and ignore it.
Well, I seem to have caused a certain amount of controversy in here this morning.
There you go. That's the formula, is the controversy.
I don't know what you made of it all. As far as I'm concerned, it simply proves that men are still terrified of women.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Gosh, I feel like I should have a... Oh, man. Yeah, geez, poor guy. She ruined their evening. Now all she has to do is sit back and watch them be uncomfortable. Yeah, stare in the pot. Wait a minute, this was the spot I was drinking at earlier. Really? Please tell me where that is. Yo, Raymond, welcome in, man. It's great to see you, bro. What did Eminem say about controversy? I remember that song, but I don't remember the lyrics. Damn it. I think that's what he said. So terrified, I'm shaking right now. Exactly. Ooh. But that's what that is. That's an attack on masculinity. It's a manipulation tactic. So it's like, we gotta let me call their masculinity into question as a kind of like reverse psychology ploy or something like that. Yeah, Raymond. Yeah, shout out to Raymond, man. Great to see you. Yeah, we are terrified, and we would choose the bear too. Fun fact: that barmaid is Susan Boyle. Oh no, I remember Susan Boyle.
Hey, come here. You won't turn your back.
The barmaid does seem to understand. She's like, I'm here to work a job and keep my ears closed. Anyways, that was fun. I wonder what the comments say. I lost it when she said this morning, how flogged were those blokes. This is what, gosh, see, this is some real UK, I don't know what the hell is being said here. This is what Lassiter's was like before Paul Robinson turned it all gastro. But why am I bothering you? Answer me. 1974 was a different planet. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. 1 year later, the Child Support Act of 1975 was passed from Congress. She should have asked John Lennon for his thoughts. He walked right behind the fella. Did you notice that they were all listening to each other and not speaking over each other? And now there are no pubs, thanks. I wonder if this is the water... She pays out on men whose primary reason for not wanting women in the public bar is that they swear when drinking and don't want to offend women. I was 7 in 1974 and saw the inside of a few pubs as a kid, as back then occasionally your old man would have to take you to the pub for some reason and would stick you in the corner with the packet of chips and a glass of fizzy raspberry drink. That sounds like some good times, man, with your dad. If someone was being loud and swore, everyone would pull him up and say, hey, there's a young bloke over there. and he would apologize profusely to everyone and probably buy you a lolly. People were a lot more decent then than they are these days. I miss those days and would give up the rest of my life to go back there for 10 years or even 5. Man. Gosh, I don't know. That's a good comment. I guess it makes me feel kind of wistful, if that's the word, if I'm using it right. Gosh. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, moving back to this. Yeah, we are so terrified. We would choose. You should watch how women nag their way into men's only spaces. Like, do you even see any men's only spaces anymore? I honestly don't think so. I think the last men's only space is like fishing. You know, maybe that's why like some of the guys I know are like so into fishing that it doesn't make sense how into fishing they are. Like they're so into it, and I think it's like subconsciously because it's like the last true men's space. Because, you know, I mean, not many women. I mean, some would, but probably not. You know, I'm going fishing, right? So maybe that's the only one I could think of right now.
Lesbian. I mean, I never really was, even though technically you would call me that because I was female and I hadn't transitioned and all of that. But there were behaviors and my psychology was still very much male and expressed in male ways, even though my socialization was more female for a long time. You know, I was forced to be friends primarily with girls when I was younger, and I had to fit in.
You were forced to? Okay.
And so I had to learn how to be more feminine to a degree that wasn't real for me. But yeah, I adopted a lot of belief systems because I was also raised by very strong, dominant women. And
strong, dominant women. Why you put it in a positive light?
Overbearing?
In other words, they were in charge, right? And you're
domineering.
The males in your life were subordinate, right?
And you know, with our
culture, hopefully you don't believe in patriarchy theory, right?
Culture being very femme-centric or
gynocentric. The word you're looking for is gynocentric.
Focused on feminist issues for the last couple of generations.
Okay, so your parents were man-haters. Because that's what it's a hate movement. You need to come to terms with that. If you want to go forward with your life, Ramblin', you have to reject the lie that feminism is anything but a hate movement.
And the women will never be able to enter the fishing space as they can't shut up for so long. Yeah, I mean, you basically just sit there and, you know, you bait your hook and just throw it in there and wait. Sometimes people will put multiple rods out and you see if any of them bite, and then you grab that thing and do what you got to do, and maybe do a little catch and release.
It was kind of common sense that you would stand up for women over men, and
there's that gender bias.
A lot of men were missing in my family, or they weren't very masculine or dominant, and they didn't teach me about.
Yeah, they were gynocentric, and that's the overall culture.
What to expect as a man dating women.
Well, yeah, I can imagine like there'd probably be less of that for her because back then, you know, she was a girl, so they probably weren't thinking about that.
Fathers are usually pretty useless at that, even if they are masculine or dominant. Because men have to be delusional in order to engage with full-time relationships with the gals. No man wants to get with a woman and believe that she doesn't love him for himself. And that's the delusion, right? So
can't do fishing, too slow pace for me. You know, I hear you. It's not like I'm into fishing. Like I don't own a rod, but I have been on so many fishing trips. It's not even funny. Just because it just happens. Like it's just a good reason to hang out with the guys, you know, like, oh, we're going, all right, yeah, I'll tag along. It's just chill out there. You know?
Your father, if it was, like you say, masculine and dominant, he would still not tell you the truth. He has to deny it to himself.
So, okay, anyways, it's a long story, so I'm going to do different parts to this. But I was with this particular ex for about 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that was probably the one that red pilled him in a way. And we've all got, he you know, experienced the male heartbreak pattern.
And we had our struggles. We went to therapy towards the end for a while.
You know.
And basically...
Has anybody, like, heard of any couples going to therapy and it worked? Like, does anybody know any success cases? Anyone know a couple that had success going to therapy? Going to couples therapy, we'll call it that. I'll just leave it at yes or no. This will be just a poll, just for fun.
What happened is, I mean, I already had some beta tendencies for sure.
First thing you got to do, or the next thing you have to do, is get rid of the alpha beta talk. That's been disproven. There are no alpha beta males. Look how feminine Michael Jackson came off. You think he couldn't scoop up any woman he wanted to when he was at the peak of his fame? Come on, dude.
City Crusher has some interesting videos on lookism. I know Male Space talks about that a lot. There's a video, I think, about thug maxing that was pretty funny from City Crusher.
But I had a lot more alpha characteristics going into the relationship than when I left, because
I mean, it certainly sounds like, you know, RP language.
Essentially what happened is the combination of being in the long-term relationship and being too needy. I didn't know who I was, so I was...
No, you weren't needy.
I mean, you know, another way to say that is, you know, he was simping and he was going based off of the blue pill stuff, and he did all the simping stuff, and you know, I think he's describing the romantic ethos. So if you want to use beta or alpha or whatever, but it sounds like he was in a relationship, and yeah, you know, he was simping, and then he went through the heartbreak, you know, kind of archetypal story with that. I heard of one success case. Yes. Okay. Hey, Tacticus, welcome in, man. My brother's couples therapy, sponsored by an evangelical Protestant church, failed to save his marriage. Okay, so that was not a success case. Wow, that's unfortunate. And that was through a church, so that's not through the, you know, scientific stuff, but like academic, this was through a church, and that didn't work. Okay. The commenter guy, he's based as F. Yo, Luke, I would highly recommend watching some of his videos, man. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. You should watch his video on Sparta. Let me put his channel in the chat. Oh, crap. Can't I put links in here? I mean, I'm the guy, right? Let me put this link. Okay, it seems fine. Yeah, I would, like, if you're just chilling one day, man, I would check out some of his videos. I think he's pretty cool. I like his stuff, man. I only know of women to successfully humiliate men in couples therapy. Yeah, I mean, of the people that I've heard that's gone there, I haven't heard any. It's like I've known people in there that were in there for like a while, like over a year, and you know, unfortunately didn't work out. Maybe there's some success. It sounds like there is. We got 86% say no. So that means 14% of you guys said that some of them, you know, can lead to a positive outcome. But the dude was a G and was banging chicks on the side. Oh, okay, never mind. So it wasn't the couples therapy that saved it. It was the competition anxiety. Like, for some reason, she was just like, why am I so attracted to the, he was exploiting the intersexual dynamic side of this. He was spinning plates. He was applying dread game. And then the dead bedroom got fixed. So I don't know if that was the couples therapy. Sounds like he was just cheating. Like he was just, I hate to say it, but he was spinning plates so hard that it even outdid the negative effects of the couples therapy on the relationship. Oh, okay. Beta, Alpha, Sigma, Ul, Huanaya. Yeah, I think maybe City Crusher even plays it in this video, but he shares a video, I think it's in the video we're reacting to, but of the guy who coined alpha beta in the study of wolves, basically said that it was not how people understand it. And the alpha is just essentially the father of the wolf family. So, you know, a wolf goes out and mates with another wolf, and then they have kids, and those are the quote-unquote betas. So it's not like what you think it would. It's literally like a familial unit. I don't know. So the counseling was just, please stop banging side chicks. And it's still, like, they still stuck together. That's fantastic. That's amazing. Couples therapy only exists to browbeat men into compliance. That's the problem. Yeah, the compliance thing, and that's not going to work. 100% correct, Shah. Thank you, Don DeMarco. That was my experience. Dread dynamics. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what it was. Well, hey, shout out to them, man. They made their relationship work, and we can credit that one to the RP, you know.
You want the exact same thing as a man as you did as a woman, and men don't get that. Women don't want, when they say a needy man, what they mean is you're a man who wants intimacy, and that's not what they're going to give you. Not then, not now, and not tomorrow.
Damn, I feel like, man, we just got to hear that again.
A needy man, women as you did as a woman. No, you weren't needy. You want the exact same thing as a man as you did as a woman, and men don't get that.
Yep. Hey,
women don't.
Father X. Hey, welcome in, man. Shout out to you, man. You know, one of my buddies that I've known for years is going through a horrible custody case right now, and you know, I've been trying to help him out as best as I can. But at one point, I sent him your videos. I was like, you need to watch this man's videos. I was like, I've talked to this gentleman before, and I can personally tell you these are some of the best videos I've seen about fighting for custody on the internet. So I sent them to him, and he's going through it right now, but I just want to say I'm grateful for your work out there, Father X. And thank you. Happy New Year to you as well. I hope you're doing well.
When they say a needy man, what they mean is you're a man who wants intimacy, and that's not what they're going to give you. Not then, not now, and not tomorrow.
It's crazy. Like Don DeMarco's story about his buddy who was banging chicks on the side. It's like that guy had to incorporate elements of the bad boy into his life, and then, you know, he got the intimacy, whatever, from that woman, amongst others. You know what I mean? You know,
wanting to spend way too much time with her. I had anxious attachment style. For the majority of that relationship.
I mean, you know, like there's all these terms you can put there, but you can also just, you know, he was simping, you know, basically, right? And it was killing attraction, and she wasn't feeling it. And Arthur Dunn, I'll have to check out Father X. I'm about to split with my toxic narcissistic chick, and we have a child. Well, let me help facilitate that for you right now. Right here. This is who you want to see. And I think they're organized into playlists sometimes. This one's good. You know how fathers can win custody. So there's 49 videos there. But like these are really good. You know, my first day in family court, total train wreck, strategies for dads, timeline and process. This one is really good right here. I think we even reacted to this one on the channel just to get some idea how to manage your time wisely. Like he gives a lot of advice on how to talk at the court hearings, what to look for, how to be prepared. So man, I would really check these out. Did I put this link? Let me put the link in the chat for you just to help facilitate this for you so you can subscribe now and not forget. Yeah, so personally vouching for Father X here. Shout out to you, Arthur. Shout out to you, man.
Relationship was still female. I, for the majority of that relationship was still female, not on hormones, so my estrogen, I had high testosterone for a female, but I also had higher estrogen, so I would go through mood swings.
There's no point in blaming your hormones, dude. All the needy men or the non-needy men are simply men who know it's a waste of time.
Yeah, essentially. Like this is not going to facilitate any desired outcome, and it's just going to be a waste of energy. So I may as well just not do that.
Opening up to women. They know that makes them reject, the women reject the men.
Yeah, I mean, you guys remember Copper Wire Guy? You remember we did a thing on Copper Wire Guy? And, he was just having a moment. Now, he wasn't even in the house. He was outside of the house. And he was looking at this giant copper spool of wire that he had used for his whole career. And he was just reflecting on his mortality because he had got to the end of this wire spool and he had it for since the beginning of his career. It lasted that long. And his wife comes out of the house and just says hears him being emotional for 5 seconds and just is completely dismissive. And it went viral and was just how emotionally unsupported. And those are supposed to be the people that are the emotionally nurturing ones, by the way. End of the poll here. So 83% said no. Does anyone know a couple that had success going to couples therapy? 17% says yes. I remember the Copper Wire Guy and that stitch of a woman. Yeah. And they even made a part 2 because the backlash to her was so bad that they had to explain it. And the part 2 was just as bad. The guy was basically held hostage and had to say what she wanted him to say. It was just really bad. So then it just kind of erupted again. It's been a while since we saw that. Shout out to everybody that's watching and thank you for the likes on the channel. We got 10 likes on the channel. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, right. You're even going to admit it later on.
And then, there's other stories about men crying in front of their girlfriends and it's not even from the men themselves, but the women will write these stories online and talk about how they knew they should be supportive, but they were instantly unattracted to literally their boyfriend of 4 years or even their husbands. It's that bad. And then we had, who's that other person? Amber Heard on the stand talking about Johnny Depp crying and how her talking about how disgusted she felt by that. Cause seeing a grown man cry, you know what I mean? So it was, yes, we know that.
And the estrogen makes you want to bond and be close all the time. And,
nonsense. Men want to bond and be close all the time with women.
It's true.
All of us. We're simply denied that.
But instead you have to go through this process of being detached and then not, the red pill will call that one-itis, right? And then there's this whole process of internalizing the red pill. This is the intersexual dynamics red pill. And you have to get over one-itis and you have to be able to, say next. And if she's not yours, it's just your turn, right? These are all maxims around the space, until you become this kind of different thing that wasn't your default state. Which is kind of ironic from a but anyways, women are by far the less empathetic gender. I think science even proves this. Yeah, I mean, well, it certainly seems that way. It certainly seems that way. Making excuses for hormones. What a cop-out. Men aren't allowed to talk about hormones and have excuses. Yeah, exactly. When it comes to a man's hormones and drive, it's like, well, you better have that under control. When it's women, it's like, well, my hormones and I was going through this and that, and that's why I did that. So, blah, blah, blah.
Aren't interested.
With men, it's like, you better not give in to temptation,
That added to the neediness, so I lost whatever masculine edge that I had over time.
So your masculine edge was not showing any vulnerability. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and that is that's the RP way of doing things. I hate to say, so I might disagree, but it seems to lead to that. I mean, but to sum up what he's saying, right? He just was in this relationship. He was in love. The simping came in. She wasn't feeling him after that. And, it sounds pretty standard.
Right. That's the male experience, right? And you're learning, hey, what you're saying is you should have had a man who come to you and say, women aren't interested in you and your vulnerability.
If some man would have told him that, he would have outright rejected that man. He would have rejected that man and demonized that man and possibly lashed out against that man and demonized that man and tried to excommunicate that man from whatever group they were. So, even in the beginning of the RP days, like it was kind of supposed to be a don't talk about Fight Club kind of thing. Almost for that reason, because it's like you're going to sit there and unbeatify this guy or try to break this guy out of the matrix, to use the kind of old lingo. It was going to have, you're going to have to just deal with a whole lot of belly aching, and guys were like, it's not really worth it. So I don't know if he would have listened to someone who would have told him that. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to blame guys for not telling you. Shah, you're absolutely right about what the reaction would have been, man. Yeah, it's really, that's what it is. And I mean, I think some of us have experienced that to some level if you've ever had a little bit of that conversation. So then, when it all finally blows up and then they're heartbroken and now they're paying the consequences, then you can have a bit of that discussion. You know what I mean? And they'll probably listen a bit, but before that, it's a little bit tougher. I have tried many times to help dudes out that are too far gone. Yeah. It's really not until the hand goes on the stove, and then it's just like, hopefully if they got their hand burnt, it wasn't that bad and they could learn their lesson. But sometimes it's really bad, and the consequences are tough.
It turns them off, and they're going to reject you as soon as you're not able to perform. Right. So is this really good news to you? Like, if you had a guy teach you the right things to get the girl, would that be the way you want to live your life?
And when I transitioned, it's so interesting because the masculine traits that I had that were acceptable when I was a lesbian was being disagreeable, being aggressive, being rebellious. I dropped out of
all right, a little bit of the bad boy
high school.
None of those are masculine traits, dude. None of those are masculine traits.
You could just pretty much say it's bad boy traits, right? Like that's what I'm getting from it.
Just do yourself a favor, Ramblin'. Type in YouTube, Karens, right? Karen videos where cops arrest them. You'll see.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, disagreeable. That's funny, man. City Crusher's got it going on.
All kinds of straight women who are disagreeable and fight with those police officers. So you're just wrong about that.
That is so funny.
That is the programming you have to drop.
And I got into partying for a while, and then I got sober, and that's where we met. And I was in groups. I couldn't obviously join a gang or anything because I guess being white and stuff, I mean, there were
Yeah, I mean, wanting to join a gang, like that's just trying to live out the bad boy kind of archetype, the
weren't any
rebel.
white gangs in the area that I was in. So instead, I joined a political cult that was pretty militant. And
So because of lack of white gangs, he decided to join a political cult that was pretty militant. So when this guy said he was a social justice warrior, he was not lying. Like, he was in a militant cult of SJWs. Damn. Okay.
so I had some of these like bad boy traits as a
There you
female.
go. Yeah, the bad. Yeah, okay. So he says bad.
But it was seen as not problematic.
And I understand what City Crusher is saying. It's like equating bad boy to masculine. That may not be what we mean, by masculine. Now, there could be some embodied traits there. But it's not like self-control kind of masculine. It's more about trying to alpha everybody in the room and cause chaos type of masculine, if you want to call it that.
It was seen as empowering.
There you go. People like women, they don't like men. So the exact same traits are positive for women, negative for men, right? So you're found out right there what it is to be a man. We're seen in a negative light, period. Our sexuality is, our behavior is, our desires are.
But when I transitioned, a lot of the feminist ideology that I had practiced for a few years.
Yeah, all that man-hating you practice didn't work out.
He just calls it man-hating. I mean, that's what it is, Oikophobic misanthrope. Good evening. Good evening to you. Shout out to you. Thanks for being in here.
For you, now that you're a man. Wow. Who would have thought?
From my late teens to when I started transitioning at 25, it kind of I turned on myself because all of a sudden I had become the enemy.
Right. Self-loathing, right? And you admit it, you see us as the enemy.
Dang. Yeah, that's a good point. He basically just said that.
You worship women, dude, just like the rest of us guys. And women hate our guts.
That's the gynocentrism. That's the simping.
And it's innate, right? No one taught you to join these groups. You just did as a woman.
Or I had become the problem, being a white, straight, what's called cis-passing male.
Exactly. You became the problem just because of the way you look. Had nothing to do with what you've done with your life. And that includes all these women who were your pals in the past, right? Who knew you for who you were. So it had nothing to do with the quality of the person. This kind of sexism is completely comparable to racism. It's like if you were part of the KKK and you converted to a black man, and then they rejected you, and you go, "Wow."
I mean, it's a tough metaphor, but it's true basically, because it all came out of hate.
Oh, I don't understand. I can't figure this out.
And
it reminds me of that Dave Chappelle skit where he's blind, but he's like, basically like in the KKK or something, but he was blind his whole life, so he didn't realize he was black. It was from way back in the Chappelle Show days. My
partner started treating me this way. I kind of ended up taking it for a bit because I didn't.
Yeah, okay. The big simping was in, and the abuse was there. So he's dealing with the emotional abuse from the woman.
I didn't know how to.
Your partner started treating you this way, really? So it has nothing to do with your inner character as a person. She didn't love you for yourself then, did she?
His logic is solid, very much so.
What to do, honestly.
Women's relationships with men have no depth to them, dude. None. It went skin deep. How you look to her.
Because I knew it was right.
Gosh, that's a good point too. It's just how all on the look and nothing beyond that. You can pretty much say a utility.
Because of the gender dysphoria, the sex dysphoria, the mismatch between my masculinized brain from what happened to me in utero with the pregnancy. You can go watch my other vid about that, and how it didn't match up with the wiring, and you know, it wasn't connecting with the female body. So I knew.
I don't know why you're bringing this up, dude, because your rejection from these women have nothing to do with your dysphoria.
That being in a more male body, as male as, you know, modern medicine can get it, felt right, and that was the right thing for me to do. But as far as my masculine identity, I ended up repressing all.
This guy is a savage in his commentary. I'm telling you, subscribe to his channel and watch his stuff, man. Like, I have been enjoying listening to his videos. I've been watching this and Dr. Todd Grande. That's like all the videos I've been watching lately.
Of those masculine traits, and I ended up becoming a nice guy.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so again, I know I've said it probably 5 times already, but yeah, okay. You know, the one-itis, being in love, and the simping and all that.
And again, I had some of those.
He became a fan, so she was just not feeling him. You know, this is pretty archetypal story for RP stuff right here.
So for you, the non-masculine man is a nice guy, right? A nice guy is a dirty term now.
Oh man, here it comes.
Right. In other words, you were trying to do whatever you could to conform to what these women wanted, and it didn't work for you.
Yep, and that is where the alpha simping comes in. You know what I mean? And that's where, you know, like that's just being deep in the gynocentric pool right there, and trying to do everything you can, bending over backward, and it's just killing attraction.
Right.
And, you know, not to make fun of them, I mean, most of us guys have been through this, like, at least once. And I know I've asked it on the channel before. Like, who here has not simped once? Come on, you know? We've all kind of dealt with it in one way or another, and he's dealing with it. And it's kind of unreal, especially if you've been brought up in a culture that literally tells you to do this thing that is going to lead to disaster. You know what I mean? So it's just like, huh? But yeah, you know, so yeah, that's why the RP became a thing. Shah, tack one of the Nora Vincent. Yeah, I think that's who I was trying to reference earlier, but couldn't remember her name. Segments at the end for late night double feature. I hope we're talking about the same person. Man. I'm thinking about the woman who became a man and then ended up, you know, self-deleting, unfortunately.
It also says a lot about female sexuality when a good person isn't appreciated.
Yeah, and where on the other end of the spectrum, the kind of complete bad boy is the one that's getting the chicks or whatever, and they're kind of throwing themselves at that, and it works, and it creates, you know, not that that's good, but, you know, the red pill spent a lot of time trying to deconstruct that to understand what was going on there when women would choose that over the nice guy, you know? I was trained as a church guy to simp hard. Yeah, I'm guilty of it in the past. Man, dude, we all are, bro. We all are. Someone told me they never simped before, that didn't happen, or they didn't have a relationship where they were doing that. I'd be like, you're lying. You were lying. You know? I mean, you know, I don't know. Maybe, possibly, but I simped 3 times, then I was done for life. I hear you, man. I hear you. I do like to imagine you in the Porsche now, but, you know, now it's about stay gaming.
You gotta stay gaming, bro. Don't focus on no girl. Just stay gaming.
Exactly. Don't we all want some? Yeah, Nora Vincent. Yes. Okay. Thanks for reminding me about her name.
Traits before, but as a female, having a combination of both is more acceptable. It doesn't necessarily
acceptable, period.
necessarily protects you from being what are some of the terms? It's been a minute since I've been like obsessive with the red pill terminology and stuff, but what does that one guy say?
Yeah, you got to get rid of a lot of that terminology because there's a lot wrong with the red pill.
I can appreciate City Crusher for that, that'd be cool. Hope somebody does like an interview with them or something. It would just be fun to hear. He probably went into it in some of his older videos. I'm trying to catch up with some of his older stuff. He's been making videos for a while. Looks like a few years. So maybe he has done some interviews, but I'd like to hear someone explore that more with them, just what it is that he would say the RP gets wrong. I think some of that can be gleaned from his other videos, but yeah, maybe one of these days we'll see an interview with them. I'll never simp again. I try to get my boys to understand how toxic simping is. Yeah. Yes, church is a beta factory. Avoid church, sorry to say. Yeah, it sounds like something some of them are working on. Sometimes I hear in the space, so yeah, I think they're wrestling with it too. Sorry, I read that one. Back to work for me. Have a good night, gents. Hey, no worries. Thanks for coming in and saying hi. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your work day there. Not much wrong with the RP, honestly. Not sure what he means. Well, I mean, like when it comes to certain things, I think some things can be criticized, like for me, kind of this idea of only women are hypergamous. I look at men as being that too, and I think the historical data supports that. So just stuff like that, you know what I mean? So I would be interested in hearing what he thinks as well. Obviously people as red pill purists would say it's just intersexual dynamics. It doesn't give any prescriptions. If we're talking about that red pill. I look at red pill as two strains. There's the Paul Elam, Peter Wright pushing against gynocentrism style and pushing against romantic chivalry, men's rights kind of deal. Then there's the strictly intersexual dynamics, red pill. And, so there's differences there. And I tend to look at red pill as mostly good for men to understand how to, bed women and not just that, but maintain attraction. Though I think it doesn't solve the problem of a higher leveraged relationship. Maybe it can, you can kind of pass all the shit tests forever and you can be in this hypergamous relationship with this woman and she stays there, so long as you cheat on her like Don DeMarco's buddy did to save his marriage. Shout out to that guy. But even then, I think that's pretty risky. I think it's a risky way to live. So looking at a better long-term deal, I think is something that the red pill hasn't really answered yet in a way. So, fun stuff there. Simpin' ain't pimpin'. No, it is not. I met her parents over the holiday. And yes, I was driving the Porsche. It was weird being closer to their age than my women. That is cool, man. Sounds like you had a fun holiday, man. I'm glad to hear that. I hope everybody else had a good Christmas and is going to have a happy new year here coming up. That's cool, man. Sounds like it was fun. I wonder if I don't know why. I just imagine like them giving you a gift. Like, hey, we got you this. And then maybe you giving them a gift too. That's cool though, man. Sounds like a fun time.
Betatization of 1,000 cuts or something like that. Okay. So having feminine traits like being agreeable, being emotional, being sensitive.
None of those are female traits. That's human across the board.
When you're a lesbian, not every lesbian is into that, but it's sort of like you're still a part of the sisterhood, and that's sort of expected because you're female. So you're not shamed for those traits, and you're even like in some.
Yeah, you're not shamed for any traits, dude.
Yeah, City Crusher on the money.
You can be a nice guy when you're a woman, or you can be the bad boy as a woman. And both.
Yeah, and it's, oh, well, women, aren't accountable. They just need a good man to lead, which is another way of saying there needs to be a good man to just clean up after her so it doesn't bother everybody as much.
They're equally desired by both genders, right?
Lesbians, like, I think for my ex had her own masculine traits, and I think that my sensitivity and my emotionalism, because she was pretty shut down emotionally,
okay, yeah, so she was emotionally abusive,
triggered the same kind of vasopressin response in her towards me as what happens when women are crying and they trigger that response in straight men. So there's some interesting, I think biological things happening with lesbian relationships in that regard.
Well, that's interesting.
So, she wanted to take care of me more because I was, I was cute, I was like masculine, and I had this sort of like bad boy kind of vibe about me, but I
there's the bad
also
boy.
was like, a traditionally pretty female. So
none of
okay, yeah, so they're in these man-woman roles. Does anyone remember seeing the trans man with the white ball cap sobbing on screen only a couple years after transitioning? She said she had no clue until she found out. Man, I don't know if I remember that. I don't know if I did see that. He should have led harder, bruh. The dude swaying back and forth is annoying as hell. Yeah, I was thinking that. I didn't say nothing, but yeah, I hear you.
Saved your relationship.
It is
with
not
this woman,
good
did
for
it?
for the visual aspect of
I
this.
think that she saw both sides of me, and she responded to the sort of pretty sensitive female side as like, this is my best friend, this is another sister, another female, so I'm going to be there to help her, even if it...
Yeah, so, I mean, that sounds like kind of a friend zoning within the relationship.
Turned her off sexually, right?
You're part of the sisterhood, but you turn...
And listen, I don't even know if this is some biological thing between the women, but when men do that in relationships, then it kills the attraction and it becomes this kind of friend zone within a relationship deal.
Turn her off sexually. So this behavior didn't turn her off sexually when you were a woman, right? Right.
Where now, as a guy, the type of just dismissiveness, disgust, even the disgust responses from women, if there's any vulnerability or sensitivity shown.
Yeah, and that, I don't think any of that has to do with him being a female to male trans man. That's just that he was just experiencing it as from the man's role.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. Right. You're getting to the core of it, right? Women don't like men. And our vulnerability sickens them.
And they're supposed to be the ones that do all this emotional labor, by the way. Except when it comes time when you're emotionally vulnerable. Then it's like, how dare you ask me for emotional labor? So, and see, this is where the fishing trips comes in, and this is where the man only pubs are a lot better to deal with this, So I don't know, man. I'll better let that out on the fishing trip, man.
I never experienced that because I had the privilege of growing up female, even though I was masculine and I got bullied for all the queer stuff. But so the women in my life, they were simultaneously my...
And even if you're like not a queer person, like the kind of nice guy male as a young person, I think it's not a stretch to say I probably had to deal with bullies to some extent and getting friend zoned by women and having to deal with that, until they figured it out.
The ones that were actively restricting me and in a lot of ways abusing me in the sense of not allowing me to be who I truly was, feminizing me for years and teaching me a female reproductive strategy that was not in my best interest. Because
again, this is not a reproductive strategy. None of this is. Has nothing to do with reproduction whatsoever. You got to get rid of that idea. If it was a proper male reproduction strategy, men wouldn't be struggling so much just to get copulation. Men get rejected on the regular. So there is no proper reproductive strategy.
Because that
seems like the cheating and the Don DeMarco's buddies reproductive strategy would be to maximize that.
Is not the strategy that would work for me with women. I wanted to date women, not men.
Hey, what's good, brother Shah? Happy holidays to you and yours. Hey, man, I really want to know podcast. Shout out to you, man. It's great to see you in here. I hope you're doing well, man. And thank you. Happy holidays to you. Hope you had a fantastic Christmas and have a good New Year's coming up, man. It's been a while. It's been a while. I always like seeing your posts, man, and I always see your stuff on IG. I know you did a podcast recently. It was like a cigar kind of smoking podcast with somebody. I'm going to have to find that. I was looking, I don't know if you posted a link. I didn't see one on the story, but I'll have to go back and see where that is because I had fun with that. I really want to know, that's DL Saint, and he was there was John McCallion was the first person to interview me, but I remember DL Saint was the first person after that to interview me and the first person to like make some shorts, with our discussion and all that. And, man, that was like even before like, I think Pearl interviewed me and stuff like that. I can't remember exactly, but, yeah, man. So I always look fondly upon that. Biggest lie ever. You never can't show your emotions to a woman. You never can. Yeah. Salute to the chat. Thank you, DL, man. Appreciate that. W Unk. All is well on my end, man. That's great to hear. That's a blessing, man. And it's great to be able to appreciate stuff and be thankful for what we have and just keep going and having the opportunity to go and just work on things that we find interesting. And yeah, man, one of these days, man, we'll have to have another discussion again.
But at the same time, the confusing thing is I got a lot of love and support and connection that a lot of guys don't end up receiving either at all in their life, or they maybe only get that type of nurturing energy from women until they hit puberty, or maybe
Thank you for admitting that. Yeah. So you actually were able to look at us and see how we live our lives, right? And yet you still stuck to that man-hating group. And you probably still believe in a lot of the feminist rhetoric. Right?
I mean, I hope some of that's changed for this person. This is a wild story, man. I don't know. That's why I had to share it with you guys. It's like, starts out as a woman, transitions to a passable looking man. I mean, I think if any of us saw this person just in passing in the grocery store, we'd be like, oh, it's some guy. You know what I mean? So, and then becomes red-pilled because of their experiences with women as a trans man, and then finally can, at least to some extent, understand how men's lives are.
And only until 5 or 6 years old. So I wasn't weaned off of my mom until later, because daughter and mother relationships are different in a lot of ways.
That's interesting.
The mother actually cares about the daughter, right? So does the father.
So anyways, like I said, this is all over the place. I've got a lot to talk about, but the red pill movement and the manosphere really taught me what masculine men should have taught me in my family. And the sad part is that
to know your place and not to show vulnerability. Yeah, that's good.
I think like as a kind of jab to the manosphere is what seems like in some ways. But yeah, I mean, his story sounds like a lot of people who found the manosphere maybe didn't have a good father figure. He has the extra layer of being a woman growing up. So, it was just kind of different. Yes, sir. I recognize talent when I see it. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Well, we'll keep going, man. We'll keep going. I had another collab today with Glenn Lawrence and Gia McCool. That was like a little over an hour. It wasn't streamed, but it was recorded. So when that gets posted, I'll share it. I'll share it with the chat. We had a fun discussion. We discussed child support, the dowry, manosphere. So, you know, that'll be fun. And I have another one coming next week. So I think you guys will appreciate, you know, the discussion with who it's with. Someone that's a little bit on the TradCon side, but kind of understands the manosphere a bit. So that'll be a fun discussion. So yeah, stuff is coming down the pipeline for sure. My ex hated my sons. She loved my daughter. It really bugged me. Gosh, that's such a weird thing. I mean, I guess if we, like, maybe if the son is exemplifying bad boy traits or something, then the mother would love them in the same way that other women love bad boys. Like, maybe there's something to that. But if it's like a normal son and they're just grown up to be a good kid, then the mom suddenly resents them. Oh my gosh. Gosh, that is really weird though. It's tough to see that, I'm sure. Murder of Crows says, Shah, I can post the link to a 40-second clip of the white cap dude. It's a short and impactful with plenty of loaded language. Let me know. If you want to share it in the Discord, I don't think you can put the link in the YouTube chat because sometimes it'll just delete it. If you want to put it in the Discord, I can look at it. So I think that might be the best thing to do. Shout out to Mr. Pitt. Yes, sir. I didn't cry at the funeral of my dad, and every woman present commented to my mom how strong a man I was. Oh, man. Like, I respect that, but I also am, like, it's like, it doesn't make me happy to hear that. I don't even know how to describe that. Like, I get it, you know. Father passes away, and it's like, you're the man now, and you gotta see to all the funeral stuff, make sure all the guests at the funeral are doing okay, and that you're representing your family, you know, in a way that's respectable, and making your father proud that his son was raised to handle these affairs and things in a way that shows decency. And then, but yeah, you're kind of pointing out something that is also, I think, tough for people to accept. That's what women want to see. Everything else about emotions is complete BS. Yeah, absolutely, man. There's no getting around that. Look forward to seeing it. Yeah, I'll have to send it to you when it gets posted. I'll share it in the Discord, and I'll send it to you personally. My sons were all alienated by her before the divorce even. My daughter is the only one that struggled after the divorce. She was the golden child that my ex lived vicariously through. Wow, you know, it's funny because it sounds kind of unfortunate for both. In the one sense, the daughter that's a golden child has the mom that probably is going to be overbearing to her in some way. And then the sons, especially if, you know, a mother like that is trying to get custody of all the sons, and then at the same time kind of is resentful towards the sons or not very loving, that would be really tough. So I'm glad that you're in your sons' lives, you know, and probably your daughters too, I'm sure. I'm writing a series of ebooks. I'll drop Q1 on Gumroad. 16 total, 10 are done. Nice, man. Shout out to that. Writing a book is no joke. I've thought about that myself. Like, I've had a couple of ideas, but I respect anybody who can write anything. Especially, you know, like I wrote a paper recently for New Male Studies, and it's still in the process of being reviewed. And it, you know, it wasn't like that long of a paper. I actually have it up right now. How many words is this? Damn, I cannot remember where the word count is on, oh, there it is. It's 5,145 words. It's like 11 Microsoft Word pages. Actually less. It's more like 10 because one of them is a source page. And that took like some going over. You know what I mean? When the paper gets posted, I'll share it with everybody too. But to like sit and write a book and from beginning to end, that's like a big endeavor, and it takes a lot of focus and concentration. So, you know, I respect people who can do that, man. That's awesome. 10 out of the 16 are done. So, okay, dropping quarter one. Got it. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for them, man. Good stuff.
You know, my uncles, they're aware of some of this stuff, but they've been victims of it too. And my dad, I don't know. I think he's aware. I think all men are, really. Once you live as a guy for long enough, you kind of eventually wake up to how some of the virtue signaling and the compassion and the sort of standing up for the underdog that is very prevalent within feminist and
That's a total lie. Sorry, I have no respect for you now.
Oh no.
Feminism does not stand up for the underdog.
Yeah. It creates a
You'll
narrative
admit it.
about who the underdog is and may or may not
When
be
you
true.
transitioned, how people treated you like dirt. Men are the underdogs and always have been. They are not standing up for the underdog. They're a hate group that attack men. Spread your lies somewhere else.
in queer circles, it doesn't apply to men.
Does not apply to men. Yep.
And if it does,
it doesn't.
If it does, if you're being pitied, that's not
Yeah, they're not going to respect you as a man or any of that.
a good thing. Unless you're like physically, you know, a Chad or whatever you want to call it. If you're physically attractive to the degree that women are willing to sleep with you, even if you have nothing else going for you, if you're pitied, that is one of the biggest things that will shut down, you know, women's sex drive towards you.
That's a couple of hardcover books. Nice. Yeah, it sounds like it, especially 16 that you're working on. But yeah, I you know, writing that short paper that I wrote, it did kind of ignite a little bit of a desire to want to write more. So, you know, fun stuff there. You know, I hope I can get into it more. It was detrimental to both my daughter and my sons. Imagine being a boy knowing your own mother doesn't give a crap about you, and the daughter being used. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking too. Like, you know, for the sons, we can kind of understand a bit more, but for the daughter, it's also a negative, which is unfortunate, you know? And I don't want to throw the word narcissist around, but it kind of sounds like they were dealing with, you know, a kind of narcissist there. And it seems like emotional abuse for kids, unfortunately. So that's the tough part. Then it's years, and you know, it sounds like you were able to get custody, but for a lot of guys who aren't able to get custody, and then the kids grow up in that till they're 18 or whatever, and then when it's like, then when they get the boot and the mom's like, "Oh, go talk to your dad," then by that time you're a guy and you're dealing with these grown adults that, you know, have years of this abuse they've been putting up with, and now you got to try to fix this, and if that's even possible or not, you know. Hopefully it is. I was talking about the paper. Oh yeah. I mean, there was so much stuff in there that like I felt like I could expand. The tough part about that paper was there was so much extra stuff I wanted to put in there, but that I couldn't put in there because it just was gonna be too much for what I was writing it for, you know. But it was a fantastic experience. So I've been waiting patiently for that to get published, and it's going to be in an actual scholarly journal, which is cool. So you know, that'll be fun to share around, and maybe it'll get some commentary or some folks who find it interesting. So you know, we'll see how it's received. Yeah, I was only able because my boys were over 15 years old and had a choice. Yeah. That I was talking to someone earlier, and they were talking about California, and when the children are 14, then they can have a choice in that matter. So yeah, I see what you mean. So that, I mean, it sounded like it lasted a while. I mean, I'm not sure how old they were when the divorce happened, but that makes sense. Each ebook will be a chapter in the hardcover that I'm working on. It'll take me about a year to write the hardcover. Got it. Yeah, that sounds about right, you know. And it's like with writing too, you know, it's like sometimes just getting it out on paper as best you can is good, but you got to go over it like a good 4 or 5 times of the draft each time and refining it, making it better and moving things around and adding different things here and there until it's really sharp and feels really good and, all that kind of stuff. It's amazing how many like errors and typos I make. Like you think, oh no, it wouldn't be like that. But it's like I'm sitting there writing so fast trying to get my thoughts on the paper. So it's just like, I don't know. I respect that. And having good editors and people look at it and help and mentor is a blessing. I like writing, man. I have a huge respect for it. I wish I could call myself a writer, but I just have not written enough.
That's right, dude. Women aren't turned on by men's humanity. Duh. For one thing, they don't respect our humanity.
It's unfortunately not part of the romantic ethos. You're supposed to be the hero that saves the damsel in distress, and then not ask for anything in return or need to be saved back.
The bad boy is a thug who's willing to commit violence on her behalf. He's a great tool. He's a great attack dog. That's what they're turned on by.
Oh my gosh, I remember that clip now. I remember that clip, man. I remember that. Yeah. I haven't seen that in a while, but I remember when this came out. I forgot what he...
Nobody told me how lonely being a man is.
I think this might have been something like Better Bachelor reacted to back then.
We knew what depth felt like before we transitioned. We knew what it felt like to have people want to hug us and to have people want to talk to us and to have a community. And then you
oh my gosh,
transition and you're just a guy walking down the street that people cross the street so that they're not near you. And friendships are so much harder to build. What's hard is none of this invalidates.
God, see, as a guy, like we're all used to that. Like that. It, I would say, almost doesn't faze us. I mean, because we're just used to that. But coming from being like a woman to a guy, that must be a lot for them. Which it sounds crazy because it's like I shouldn't even care that much. But it's like I'm just like, yeah. If you lived your whole life that way, it's probably like, oh my God, It's like living your life and having a bunch of money and a silver spoon in your mouth your whole life, and then one day, for whatever reason, you have no money for the first time in your life at like age 27 or 30 or something. And then the rest of the world just treats you like an average person with not that much money or no money. And you're just like, oh my God, I thought people were just really nice all the time and cared about you. And just, why isn't like, and just not understanding that, well, it's because, you had a bunch of money.
How real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups, how real and this invalidates to build. What's hard is none of this invalidates how real and raw women and people who are in marginalized groups feel about cis white men.
I mean, see, this is the struggle to try to reconcile this cognitive dissonance now.
All of that's valid, but I also now understand why the suicide rate is so much higher in men.
No. Oh my gosh. Thanks for sending the clip, man. Yeah, that I remember when this came out. I couldn't remember back then, but you're right. All men receive their first flowers when they die. Many men know this truth. It's sad but true. Welcome to the club, big boy. If you haven't gotten flowers before you transition, no worries. All of us guys get our first flowers when we die. You just got to wait with us now. There's a reason we developed the entire body of Western philosophy to learn to navigate all of what it means to be a man. He will be all right. Man up, essay. Welcome to the Thunderdome, kid. Now you get to die alone and nobody will notice. Thank you for posting the clip instead of a pic and talking about it. I wish there were more people like you on YouTube. No, it's not easy being a man. It's violent and sad and nobody really gives a crap about your life. Roll your shoulders and keep moving forward. That is being a man. The most simplistic way I can tell you. Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, fantastic clip, man. Great clip. Great clip. Literally, every man could have warned you about this. We're not in the suck it up and wipe the tears away generation, but we still feel the need to do it. Welcome to the club of most people give a crap about you no matter how you're feeling, except for your guy friends, homies. Nope, yeah, won't give a crap. LOL, just walk it off. Why complain if no one is going to care? Becoming a man with men's problems. Best thing I can say for you is find a girl or go out to places you find interested and meet people there. Being a man is a tough love. This person has the opposite experience. Me as a trans man, it was a lot easier to make friends. That's just my experience. Imagine having the burden of being a man, but stuck with the physical capability of a woman. Welcome to the club. Now provide something. Oh my gosh. Yep. Thanks for the clip, man. Let's definitely do a show when you get some time. I have some things I want to run by you as well. Okay, yeah, man, for sure. We'll figure it out. Maybe we could do something like in February or even late January. I mean, whatever, you know. I got a couple things coming up, but I always make time for you, man. So, you know, we'll chat and we'll get something figured out. So that'll be a fun show. Scary. It's only 2/3 of a year old. I thought it was older than that. I swear I don't know, man. I don't think so. I think that clip first surfaced like 2 years ago, man. I think it's a little older than that. Sorry, my vision is. It's the nightmare level Nora Vincent playthrough. Yeah. Trans dude aren't ready for this life. I mean, they bought into the propaganda, man. It ties in so well. Yeah, that was a excellent clip for this. It really is like this. Hey, Shah, can you link that video you were reacting to? I can't find it on YouTube. You know what's weird, man? I tried to find the original video. So here's his channel, Ramblin' Trans Man. And I could not, like, if you look at the background here, like, okay, here's the blue lights. Oh, crap, that's City Crusher. And like this one, this isn't it, this isn't it, this isn't it, this isn't it. These are reaction videos right here. So like, this one has the blue lights, but it wasn't it. So I don't know where the original video was because I wanted to see the comments on the video, and maybe it's possible that like, it's just not here anymore. So maybe he privated it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see it on there. I would link it, but you know. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Absolutely, man. We'll make something happen soon. Appreciate seeing you. Mr. Pitt says, yes, the Saint and Shah collaboration. Can't wait to see it. Yeah, heck yeah, man. That's going to be fun. I meant 2 to 3. Yes, 2 to 3 years old. Yeah, that's about right. Because I remember seeing that way back there. I think Better Bachelor did a reaction to it. Looks like they shadow banned it. Maybe they did. I don't know why he would have taken the video down. He himself even responded to City Crusher's video. So it's kind of unfortunate because I did want to read the comment section with y'all, but we have City Crushers, so it's okay.
And I can already imagine that some people that are watching this that are maybe more on the left or, you know, in my community, the trans.
Yeah, the swaying back and forth is pretty, you know, it's a little discombobulated.
Queer community are probably hearing this and they might be thinking like, well,
by the way, shout out to the 23 concurrent viewers that are watching right now. And thank you to the 14 people who hit the like button. That helps me. If anybody hasn't hit the like button, I'd appreciate if you hit the like button.
Relationships aren't just about sex and desirability but the truth is for men especially, it's very important, especially because so many men, sex is scarce for them.
But you just admit it. It's, you know, if you're pitied, the sex dries up. You're right, it goes beyond sex. They don't want your intimacy, dude. Right? They don't want your intimacy.
And instead of blaming men entirely for it, and that's something that I used to do too, because I didn't understand, you know, the whole stereotype.
Men shouldn't be blamed at all. Men who have done nothing to deserve the scorn women have innately for us. The male human being has spent the entire existence of our species, sacrificing for the opposite sex and worshiping the opposite sex. So the scorn is completely 100% undeserved.
Definitely seems to be true nowadays. Men don't just get rejected by women. They get rejected and ostracized by other men too, maybe even more so. That's the unfortunate thing. Luke Nielsen was pointing out how, especially if there's a woman around, and that's what gynocentrism does. You know, if gynocentrism is going to be the norm, then it would turn men against each other. You know, if women are to be pedestalized above men, then that would mean men are playing in, you know, to this disposability sort of trope here, because now they're in competition with each other, and it's let me get as much as I can, and, you know, all that kind of stuff. So Uno Cyclo, thanks for coming in. Everything is clout now. If you do, if you don't have clout, you're nothing. Oh gosh. I hope that's not true. But yeah, I mean, I could see a lot of people are definitely living their lives as if it was.
You know,
I don't want to believe that. You know, I want to believe men have inherent value, and I want them to live with that mindset. Orem says, being disposable ain't so bad. I don't know why everyone's so concerned about it. See, that's a nice positive mindset right there. I mean, it isn't so bad, you know. You can, you know, Dontavius helps
You
out.
gotta stay gaming, bruh. Don't focus on no girl. Just stay gaming.
And, you know, you can figure it out and build a nice little peaceful life for yourself to the best extent you can. And that's a blessing. You know, that's a blessing. Thank you, Orem.
men that are virgins or that can't get sex, it's because they're just so, there's something so wrong with them that all they needed to do was like apply themselves and learn some social skills and, like, you know, bathe. Like,
yeah, take a shower, touch grass, bro, right? It's victim.
Yeah, victim blaming.
Of course.
There it is. You
And
got
you
it
were-
right. And I think he's I don't think he's saying that's what it is. I think he's just pointing out the kind of hypocrisy of those statements, and or like at least the just how crappy those statements are.
Part of that victim blaming when you were female, and now here you are, you're one of the victims, and now you're saying, wow, this really blows.
that was the picture I had in my head, but now understanding all of the other socioeconomic factors that are going into, you know, creating this crisis of sexlessness.
Socioeconomic. So men don't have enough money to bribe women into their lives.
The monetized dating marketplace. Shout out to Coach Greg Adams.
Thank you for admitting that, Rambling. If you have to bribe a person into your life, they don't value you for yourself. Dude, would you pay guys to be your friend? No.
No.
Because you'd know what that is, but that's what we have
Doesn't
to...
that sound like something that would, like, if you think about your friends of as a man of other men, like, wouldn't that sound crazy to have to bribe them to be your friends? Like, it doesn't feel like it's that hard to do, to be friends with your buds, you know? Like, and mostly I think what aids in friendship with men is just everybody carrying their own ass, and, you know, then it's like, oh yeah, cool, you know? Everybody is concerned about being disposable, because if the subject realizes that, he won't provide anymore. Women most affected. Yeah, exactly. And the minute you're just like, oh, all right, well, if that's how you see me as disposable, then I don't see myself as that way. So I'm not going to be on your plan anymore. Clout. Nah, I don't need any of that. Yeah, exactly. Bollocks to the clout.
Do with the girls. So that should tell you everything about the relationships between the sexes.
With men, I just wasn't aware, because again, I was focused on my own selfish interest with being a lesbian at the time and being female, and I was focused on my rights. I wasn't focused on, you know...
What rights didn't you have as a woman? don't bother answering it because it's going to be bullshit. It's going to be gaslighting.
Well, and I was also focused on like people of color's rights and stuff like that because that was.
No, you weren't. Because a black man or a Hispanic man or a Jewish man, they're all still men. So you were part of a hate group that hated men for being their gender.
Yeah, it really is all men. It really is all men.
So any of those minority men would suffer under you.
Exactly. And if feminism is about all women, yeah, I mean, they hate all men regardless. I mean, maybe there'll be some choice words here and there if they feel like they can use you when it's politically expedient as an ally, quote unquote. But at the end of the day, the minute you decide to live as a man, they're going to be, you know, they're going to come after you. And then suddenly like, oh, but I thought, look at it. Hit that like button, people. It really does help. Yes, please, guys, hit the like button. Thank you so much to all the folks who hit it already. Look at it this way. If women died 5 years younger than men, there wouldn't be billions of dollars of funding. It would be in the trillion range. Not saying I care about it. I'm just stating the obvious. No one knows who you are. You get disposed of. Look how many times people name drop. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are living that way, and it's unfortunately made a lot of people just so obsessed with status seeking, I guess. Everyone's a hypocrite. RP content is making a difference, slowly but surely. I think so. And I think it has made a difference. You know what I mean? For a lot of men. And I think there's been some positive things. There's, you know, some RP content seems to keep guys in a kind of perpetual rage phase in some respects. But I think even with the rage content, people are kind of coming out of this collective rage phase and moving on to the next thing after that, you know, or whatever comes after that, or trying to figure it out. But it certainly helped a lot of people. The tough part, I'd say, for RP content are, you know, people who have trouble leaving the rage phase. And I think that's the important thing to give someone an off-ramp to. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it is making a difference. There's no such thing as a men's movement. Everyone who claims to be MRA is cosplaying as an MRA. I know it seems that way, man, but I do believe, you know, listen, actually, Paul Elam had a recent interview with Anya Shock, and I don't think he would necessarily disagree with you. And, you know, he's been an MRA for a very long time, and men have disappointed on that front. But that being said, you know, I still think a men's movement is important. And as awareness grows, I do think it can coalesce into something like that. Or at least, you know, something from an individual level that helps, you know, with some of these issues. And, you know, sometimes around here, we'll say that like MGTOW is one of the only things that really makes a difference, because when men start walking away and start refusing to pay for things, that's when society really gets worried. When men are like, the hell with your definition of masculinity, I'm not paying for a bad deal anymore. All of a sudden it's like, why aren't anybody getting married anymore? Why aren't men getting married? You know what I mean? And then they start crapping bricks. Even Dr. Stephen Baskerville, you know, put some semblance of that in his most recent book. And pretty much he would prefer to call it a temporary marriage strike, because he believes marriage is a good thing, which I do as well. But men need to find some leverage and be at a negotiating position collectively. But when men start walking away from it, that's when society starts getting worried, and it's like, oh my God, what can we do? You know, you get disposed of whether you have clout or status or not. That's a good point, Luke. Yeah, this is the high value target, as Coach Greg Adams says. And this is what John from It's Complicated would call an alpha simp. So you accumulate all the status and the clout, you get these things, but they're still using you. You know, like a bunch of piranhas eating the carcass or something like that. It's they're still trying to, you know, consume that from you. And we see that happen a lot. Exactly. Luke says, I know intimately about being disposable. My own command sold me and my boys out when they thought we were going to lose, guys. Dude, that sounds like a very incredibly sad and tough thing right there. That is the craziest black pill, man. I'm sorry, man, but shout out to you just to celebrate that. But that sounds horrible, man. That's truly being a pawn on a chessboard and being sacrificed when it's expedient, you know, which is horrible. The wisdom phase comes next. Exactly. Yeah. You mean coming next after like that collective rage phase? I think so. Yeah. You know, and I'd like to think a phase where men are comfortable making their own decisions, you know, and comfortable not in this narrowly defined masculinity where it's more about servitude or utility to women, but, you know, pursuing things for themselves, or at least in a way that's more positive and not seeing themselves in this kind of lowly position. The Badgers point out that racism is just well camouflaged misandry. That's an interesting perspective there. I agree. The MRAs on Reddit are heavily moderated. All the posts are run through a filter. You can't talk about the essential topics. It's almost like controlled opposition. I mean, that's one of the problems. You know, it's like Paul Elam had one of the biggest sites for that, A Voice for Men, and the government actually came after him and shut down the site. So, a lot of it was also because of the silencing from the establishment. So I don't think it's necessarily the men's rights activists themselves, but looking back at it, there was a lot of just crap that happened to them that really diminished their reach in some ways. So, all of that does get figured in. But I hear you about the MRAs on Reddit. Now, I don't know much about it. I've followed some of them, but that would be annoying. The MRA guys are all about politics. RP dudes should also be about politics. Now's the time to organize. Yeah, exactly. And every sort of cycle, the RP goes through a new iteration. So I think it becomes more sophisticated each time, which we're seeing. And I know there's a lot of RP purists who are like that, oh, it's just about intersexual dynamics and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, I think it will become sophisticated enough to be, something that can influence politics. And it has to some extent, even more recently with the more recent election. So it's a little bit bigger than it was before. I think the problem they had was not knowing what to ask for. And this is where the men's rights stuff, I think, can come back into play again to some extent, Keep on gaming. Shout out to Dontavius.
You gotta stay gaming, bruh. Don't focus on no girl. Just stay gaming.
I remember that Jubilee episode with the one MRA guy who was also on. Yeah. Oh my God. That was so gross. That was the grossest thing I ever saw. The MRA guy was essentially just that guy was a plant, man. That guy he was not an I can't see that guy as a real MRA. All of my political friends on the left and right are asking me about the red pill. Yeah, there you go. Because, it's becoming mainstream, or at least a lot of the talking points did. And that's where, a lot of the rage phase stuff, like I felt like it got really popular and people kind of collectively went through the rage phase. And that's how you got your panel shows and all that stuff. And then after a while, when people start exiting the rage phase, that kind of content, I think, became a little less interesting. And then, of course, the government came after a lot of those shows also. So that's a whole thing. One of the last straws on the camel's back, or is it nails in the coffin, are the breaking up of the last male spaces. Hamburger Hill, not sure what that reference is. I'm glad you made it out of that bad situation and you are with us. I enjoy our discussions. Me too, man. Shout out to Luke Nielsen. I hate to be the one to say this, but a society that puts men's needs before women's and children's is one that won't last. That's an interesting perspective. I guess if I had to try to push back on it, I'd say I can understand taking women's and children's needs that's important. But if it means denying men's needs as well, then I think that one is also kind of destined to fail. So everybody who's a participant in society has needs that are legitimate. You know what I mean? And part of our social contract is we put things in, we contribute to society, and society contributes back to us in some way. And in this way, we can have a society that works, you know? So it's not about neglecting women or children, but it's more so about stopping the neglect of men's needs. Thanks, man. I can't explain how surreal it was when I realized I'm glad to be here too. Gosh, I can only imagine, man. They banned me for talking about men being kidnapped and forced to fight in Ukraine. I've seen some wacky stories about that lately. About foreigners in Russia being thrown to the front. That's crazy. Because apparently Putin bad, Zelensky good. Those types don't like me. I'm very pro-Russian. 2028 can be huge for men, manosphere. And I know you're talking from the side of the Ukrainian side of forcing men to fight and all that. 2028 can be huge for men, manosphere, RP, MRA, all of us. I think so too, man. I said this on Pearl's show once. I said the manosphere is like Bitcoin, especially red pill content, because it goes up, man. And then like the market crashes and there's, you know, it's all bad. And then it goes up again. And I think it will. And, you know, a lot of creators are out there. They're all trying to figure stuff out. And someone is going to find the new meta. You know what I mean? And there'll be a resurgence. Shout out to the Resurgence channel. Be wary of people who are always name dropping. They're more interested in status than in advocating for men. Certainly a lot of that, man, where there's men suffering, so too shall you find grifters. Foreigners are not being forced to the front. Okay, so you'd say that's probably propaganda. Maybe you're right, man. I only saw like a couple things on Twitter about it, so I don't know for sure. Hamburger Hill is a reference to soldiers' grunts' disposability in the eyes of officers. I see. If we want a proper men's movement, we need to stop gatekeeping and join hands with all men, period. If you ostracize men for your own selfish gain, you're a fraud. Putin did an accelerated citizenship permanent residency with military service, but SVO isn't necessarily part of that. I see. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing. Just God knows what's fake news or not sometimes. That's the tough part.
And your ideology. So that's just false. I'm not calling you a liar, because in order to lie, you have to know that you're lying. You don't even realize that you're part of the hate movement. You're in denial of it.
Accepted within the friend groups and stuff that I was in. But to say that you were supportive of men's rights, I mean, back then you were automatically seen as a sexist.
You're a witch. He's a witch.
Yeah, we don't deserve rights, right? Men don't deserve rights. You can't support that. That's what the equality movement that you were supposedly a part of, and may still be, is always been about, right? Keeping men down, making sure we don't have any rights, and that our rights are being stripped too, right?
And even today, I mean, I think it's changing hopefully now, because you know, the last couple of years, the manosphere stuff has been in the mainstream, because it
won't change until guys are honest about gender dynamics and honest about that we are the underdogs. We are the ones that have always been second-class citizens, always. We're the ones who had to go to war and go down in the mines and out to sea.
Yeah, go down with the ship too, out in sea. When I speak on RP to my political friends, I start with family law. Child support and alimony guidelines are changing. I see caps coming, not because men are suffering, but because women are. Yeah, that's a good point too, man. And, you know, because women are earning money. So now sometimes they're on the other end of the system. And yeah, they want change too. But yeah, and I think that's a good thing, you know, and as more sophisticated as the space becomes, it's not just about, you know, getting laid or taking advantage of that, but it's also about seeing some of these more legal issues and collective sort of problems. I tend to call it like back end stuff. Like the front end stuff is figuring out attraction and, you know, getting a girlfriend and all this kind of stuff. That's just the front end, but then there's the back end of what men are dealing with through divorce and all this kind of stuff and on a greater cultural level. So all of that I think can be explored more, and it doesn't need to be on this kind of base level, you know, all the time. But it's still a win. Yeah, and one small win at a time, you know. So I like that. I instead of being pessimistic about it, you know. Circa 2013, the RP was online forums and blogs. Today, it's podcasts and live streams. I'm curious to know what the next iteration of the Red Pill will look like. Yeah, and that's true. That's a big jump, you know. Craymore. Hey, Craymore. Contrary to popular belief, men have never been free. Shout out to you, Craymore. Thanks for coming in. K. Raymore. Hopefully a political party, Brother Pitt. That's certainly possible. I see this as, you know, I think in order for that to happen, and one of the things that's kind of stopping that from happening is there is a kind of inherent gynocentrism on the man side. And one of my disappointments in the RP, I would say the Red Pill kind of bent the knee to the Tradcons. The Tradcons came in and pretty much lined the RPers up as much as they wouldn't want to admit it. You know what I mean? The Tradcons came in and made the Red Pillars bend the knee. And a lot of that is when the Red Pillar says, we're just a praxeology, we don't give prescriptions. That's a way of bending the knee to try to be cool with the Tradcons, which are fundamentally gynocentric. Because if you are going to truly push back on the Tradcons, then the Red Pill will have to give some prescriptions that are different from the Tradcon prescriptions. But if you're going to be like, we don't give prescriptions, then what you're trying to say is hey, don't be mad at us, Tradcons, please. We want you to like us so we can get a mainstream audience, which you currently command. Even though the Red Pill in some aspects has gone mainstream. So, you know, I think if that doesn't get pushed back on, then the RP as a political party probably cannot manifest, because to be a political party, especially, you know, your own political party or something that takes over from the inside on their end, there's going to have to be some prescriptions and some suggestions on what we're going to do as far as solutions go. There's got to be some kind of a platform, a campaign platform, right, that appeals. And I've always looked at the Red Pill as the kind of bastard child of Republicans. You know, it's kind of like the bastard child that they don't want to acknowledge as their child. But that kid is like a teenager now. And they're becoming a little tougher to deal with, because now when they kind of have a fit, you're dealing with a grown man almost, you know, if they're about 18, 19, or even, you know, whatever, somewhere there. And they're not this little kid that you can just ignore in the corner anymore. So that's what I noticed in the last cycle. I would say the RPers bent the knee to the Tradcons, you know, to some extent. But you know, that was the election fervor coming in. I see this as Trevor Cormier reacting to it. Can you link his video? Oh yeah. His name is City Crusher. I'll link his. I'm sorry, I thought you meant the original guy. I couldn't find the original guy's video. Let me put that on there for you. Dang, we're almost hitting 3 hours. I really wanted to react to one of the Dr. Todd Grande videos. I might save that for next week. We'll see how I feel after this one. That is because the things only change when women are affected. Sad state, but reality. You know, men die most in war, poor women most affected. Oh gosh, Hillary Clinton. I think the MRAs have the market cornered and most people hate them. True. We have to push through that somehow. I think so. Yeah. Dan from Men Need to Be Heard channel is a political activist. I like his channel too. He makes good videos. Repubs are just the other wing of the same bird, and in many ways they hate men even more, but subversively. Yeah, so when it comes to voting, it's like, okay, which one of these are going to be somewhat better for men? So, yeah, guys will kind of probably look over at the conservative side, but then you get a lot of the sort of tradcon annoyingness, so, I mean, I don't know if we've really meaningfully heard anything now that the Republicans are in power that they're planning to do to fix any of this stuff. I think they've just kind of went quiet on that, on a lot of things. Maybe I missed it, but I haven't heard it yet. RP issues cross the aisle. There is room for bipartisan legislation. Absolutely. I think so. And I like that outlook of a political outlook. Lesser of two evils, but they're about to lose 2028 in the midterms if they keep ostracizing men. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Yeah. So, well, we'll be watching.
And we're kidnapped in press gangs. Come on, dude.
Really hard to ignore that men are suffering right now. But
people ignore men suffering all the time, so it's not hard to ignore.
Man, I'll just say, I will be honest, the red pill really saved me in a lot of ways, because my relationships, I mean, I haven't had a serious relationship since this last relationship, and that's okay, because I need to have my like fuckboy phase. And so
I get it, man, and I really get it. And I get it. Like, I get the sleeping around, and I get that feeling of like, man, I got different chicks hitting me up or whatever. It's tight. You know what I mean? But I do believe that it's best to try to find an off-ramp from the fast lane living. And, being with all these different women and all that kind of stuff is a kind of fast lane living. You know what I mean? And even a lot of guys in the space that brag about finding, having a high body count or whatever it is, or getting all these women, they all eventually step into a landmine. Eventually. Like, if you ride a motorcycle in the fast lane, you can do everything right. But the more time you spend riding the motorcycle in the fast lane, there's a high probability, unfortunately, and I wouldn't want this to happen, but that something can happen. And there's always a risk in any vehicle. But, you can do everything right, and somebody cannot see you as a motorcycle in the fast lane. And, even like someone like, Andrew Tate or whatever. I mean, he had all the accusations and all this stuff, and there's just a bunch of them here and there. And I don't know, you know what I mean? So I get it. Really. I'm not. But at the same time, I look at it like that now. Like, there's going to be an unplanned pregnancy. There's going to be a domestic violence claim. Some guys can really be the matador and play with the bulls and have your little red pill sheet right here. And, oh my God. But when there's multiple bulls in the ring, man, one of them might get you eventually. So I think one thing guys need to learn is, after they figure out how to get chicks and feel comfortable, like, when do you take the off ramp off of that lifestyle? You know what I mean? Just something I think about, even guys with high body counts can't pair bond. It's just, there can be like, I don't know. It just takes one,
That's what I'm doing now, but I couldn't have done that.
Really? So you value a long-term relationship over just casual sex, right? So what you're admitting, is that men want intimacy with women.
I will say, for this person having an F-boy phase, well, probably not going to have any unplanned pregnancies there. So, okay, it's a little different.
That's this idea, this propaganda that men just want sex has always been a lie. Thanks.
Without understanding a more male perspective and a more male reproductive strategy perspective, and to not shame myself for having that desire to have a lot of sexual experience and to be desired by women and to feel masculine while doing it, you know, and to not be a people pleaser and thinking about being a good guy.
Keep up the bad boy image, right? That's what the girls are attracted to. Okay.
Yeah. How long are you going to keep up the bad boy lifestyle too? I mean, you know, just like that's fast lane living right there. 2028 belongs to the Dems. This administration is chaos. That's the feeling I get too. I think what's going to happen is it's really going to depend on the economy. It's crazy to think the Dems won't come in power because, first of all, there's two main political parties here. You know what I mean? It's like, yes, they will be back in power, but if people feel the economy is not good, people have a tendency to just vote for the other side. And we're also talking about a political organization with millions of dollars to throw at this problem. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to find some smooth talking person that's kind of like their version of a demagogue that's going to get the votes for them. You know what I mean? So if the situation has not improved much in the next couple years, then, you know, people will probably vote the other guys in, you know, which will be the Dems. So, you know, I don't think it'll be this Republican sweep for the next 5-10 years or whatever it's going to be. So yeah, we'll see, you know, we'll see how that goes. Gored to death by a baby trapper.
Yeah. Why be a good guy? Right? Why be a great human being when you can get laid?
Taught me to connect to my authentic masculine traits, to not demonize my more disagreeable or aggressive traits, to see them as natural, because that is part of my natural temperament. And, you know, so very much in that way I was socialized to be a girl, to be nice, to be agreeable, but I always rebelled against it. But, you know, that's the issue, though, is that I have the disagreeable, aggressive side, but
that was due to your female friends. They're the ones who demanded that from you, not us guys. No, supposedly aggressive women are still desired by men, and we'd be glad to have you in our social circles.
There's about like 4 minutes left. I think I'll just call the video here just because I think we kind of got the gist of this. So, I mean, that was fun, man. Shout out to City Crusher. Guys, if I would highly implore you gentlemen to go over to his channel and watch some of his videos, man. They're pretty good. They're pretty freaking good, man. Amel Space sent me one about, he has a video about thug maxing, which is hilarious. It was like 5 minutes and it was like really funny. But yeah, check out some of his videos, man. He's also done some reactions to It's Complicated stuff. It's Complicated, you know, interviews. So I find his channel very enjoyable to watch. So if I were you guys, I would check it out. Let's see the comments. Empathy, excellent use by you of the term empathy. It does not mean putting yourself in another's shoes, or more precisely, or excuse me, it does mean putting yourself in another's shoes, or more precisely, resolving another being entirely within yourself. Most people try to claim empathy when they mean sympathy, the emotion of feeling badly when you see suffering in others. Women are entirely solipsistic and are unwilling to use empathy in any way. They find it a hellish experience. Hey, look, and see, this is the person who made the video, Ramblin' Trans Man. Hey, thanks for the response and feedback. Good stuff. I'm definitely going to have to think about it. I probably will have to make a response vid to hit every point, but I think I agree with most of what you brought up. Always open to learning more from you and other guys, and from other guys. Take care. So that's cool. I don't see the response vid. Oh, this was from a year ago. Well, you know, so I don't think he did the response vid. Cheat mode, adult woman Is it wrong of me to experience schadenfreude when I hear women who transition into us experience some of the struggles we face? Let's not forget that she decide to be trans, she'll gain all her status back. I feel more empathy for trans women and gray men. They know the struggles more than this woman ever will. New difficulty level unlocked, Ultra Nightmare. Took a brief look at his channel. All his talk about red pill and alphas and betas makes me uncomfortable. Makes me think he could be a tradcon, incompatible, no hostile to men's rights. Queue up Welcome to the Family by Avenged Sevenfold. I was beta. I still had some alpha tendencies. Oh, for goodness sake, this person transitioned and bought into the RP dude bro nonsense. Crusher, I downloaded this video. Don't think YouTube will keep it up. I recommend others do so as well. By the way, I watched your conversation with Board Kanek. Let's see. Oh gosh, what is this? Are gay men the only people who love us for who we are? How do you even have the audacity to say that? So out of touch in goodness. So anyways, yeah, that was a good video by a man. I was thinking to watch some Dr. Todd Grande. I know we're hitting the almost 3 hour mark. This video, when I saw the video, it's just like a beautiful woman that get a bunch of wealthy simps to kind of like destroy their lives for her in a way. And, it talked about her using the child support system and getting like $5,000 a month in child support, and then like getting another kid with another wealthy guy, and then getting like another $4,000 a month, and then using this money to like fund her luxurious lifestyle. It's like the craziest thing. You know what? I'd say let's just watch. I'll probably not react to it as much, but let's just watch it for the heck of it. It's past my bedtime, gentlemen. I spent the first 47 minutes of my birthday with you effers, so don't say I don't care about y'all. Hey, man, happy birthday. Dang it, I wish I saw this comment sooner. Happy birthday, man. Shout out to you, bro. I hope you have a fantastic day for your birthday, man. And that's cool, man. So you got Christmas, then it's your birthday, then it's New Year's. That's a fun time to have a birthday. So happy birthday, man. And I hope you buy yourself something nice too, man. Like just spend a little bit of money. Just get yourself something that's cool, man. And you're just like, that's $200. Like, you know what? I think I will buy that for myself. And then go buy yourself like a really good dinner. Just like, man, I think I'm going to eat steak tonight. That's what I'm going to do. Happy birthday, man. That's awesome. Thanks for spending some of your birthday with us. That means a lot. The new year is approaching. I see y'all on the other side. Good night, gentlemen. Have a great night, man. You got to his take on the guy who got a domestic visit from the cops and chose to maintain his dignity. By the way, it did not end well. Is that from City Crush? I'll have to check that out. It was ending by White Knight Cops. You got to see his take. I'll have to look for that video. All right. So, guys, I say we just hang out for a little bit more and watch this. We'll get through it quick. Just because the fact that mentioned child support, I just had to like throw this in. So let's have some fun here. This is Dr. Todd Grande. Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video. Only speculating.
Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today I will analyze the case of Tatiana Remley. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the crime, then offer my analysis. Tatiana Natasha Remley was born on December 8, 1980 in Phoenix, Arizona.
Man, some of the pictures are crazy. They go from like glamorous to like, But yeah, we'll kind of see that as it goes.
Parents Vera and Brian on December 8, 1980 in Phoenix, Arizona. Her parents Vera and Brian moved the family to Bend, Oregon when Tatiana was very young. When she was 9 years old, the family moved again, this time to Valley Center, California. This rural community
definitely some manufactured.
Is 38 miles north of San Diego. After arriving there, her parents never enrolled her in school. Tatiana had only completed 4th grade. At some point, when Tatiana was at least 20 years old,
username, shout out to you, man.
She had a daughter. Tatiana and the
24 years old, has a daughter.
They're separated, and he paid her $5,000 a month in child support.
So she found some wealthy guy, had a child, and, you know, went straight to the child support office, got $5,000 a month, which is that's a pretty hefty child support order, by the way. $5,000 a month.
On September 12, 2003, Tatiana married a man named Kenneth Wolcott, and they went on to have a son together. Kenneth was a real estate developer and part owner of the NBA Sonics.
Okay, Alpha Simp number 2, part owner of the Sonics.
His net worth was about $36 million.
Finds a single mom that looks really hot.
He was 20 years older than Tatiana.
Okay, sugar daddy status, but, you know, did he get married to her? I can't remember if he said they got married. Hold on one second.
And he paid her $5,000 a month in child support. On September 12, 2003, Tatiana married a man named...
Married a man. Okay, so yeah, he did not go to the JUCO on this one, which would have been probably better and pretty much the same. Instead, he married this woman. Okay.
Kenneth Wolcott, and they went on to have a son together. Kenneth was a real estate
I'm going to go ahead and say this was before the manosphere was big. This just looks like this happened a little bit before all
developer and part owner of the NBA Sonics. His net worth was about $36 million.
Wow.
He was 20 years older than Tatiana. On August 30, 2004, after less than a year of marriage, divorce proceedings...
No red flags at all, huh? Nothing raised a red flag in this guy about marrying this woman. But okay, yeah, so let's hear about the divorce.
On August 30, 2004, after...
Yeah, 2004. Okay, yeah. So, man, it must have been good times for women in 2004 when you can find a part owner of an NBA team, be a single mom, and convince that guy to marry you. Hopefully the simp economy has crashed hard enough to where that's no longer a possibility.
Less than a year of marriage, divorce proceedings were initiated. Kenneth accused Tatiana of using his credit cards to purchase clothing on shopping sprees.
What did you expect? What did you expect was going to happen, sir?
Only to return the clothing and keep the money. The divorce was finalized in April 2006. Tatiana collected child support for her son, which brought her total child support payment to $9,000 a month.
Okay.
Again, she was already collecting $5,000 a month for her daughter.
So good times in 2004. She's got 2 kids and $9,000 a month coming in of untaxed money, at least when she gets it.
After the divorce, Tatiana had a turbulent love life. She was briefly engaged to 3 men, but did not get married to any of them.
Wow.
In 2009, one of these men sued Tatiana, trying to collect $4,000 that he had loaned her.
Shout out to that guy.
She claimed it was a gift, but a court ordered Tatiana to pay the money back.
Probably came from the kids' child support money.
On March 18, 2011, Tatiana married a wealthy man named Mark Remley.
Look at that. Simp number 3. Simp number 3. 2 kids, separate, you know, I don't think the first one was a marriage. The second one was a marriage. Finds another wealthy guy, and this guy's like, I'm going to marry you.
He had served as a chief information officer for several years and inherited $26 million from his parents.
Oh my God.
The couple lived in a $5 million house in Del Mar. This is 21 miles north of San Diego. In 2012,
some women are just straight up succubuses. You know what I mean? Like, this is where Coach Greg Adams' advice of community property, you know, really applies.
Tatiana and Mark organized a traveling horse show called Valatar 12. Tatiana,
oh,
this is 21 miles north of San Diego.
Okay, so they were living in this ballerific house.
In 2012, Tatiana and Mark organized a traveling horse show called Valatar in Del Mar. The show was held in a tent and featured circus-like acrobatics. The plan was to hold 45 performances. Due to poor sales, they went out of business after 4 shows.
So basically, he's just like, let me finance all the crap that your imagination wants to do. And it was a gigantic disaster and just went out of business, and it was a huge waste of money. So this guy inherits $26 million or whatever the hell it is. And, you know, probably loses $1 million of it in this, whatever this venture was. You know what I'm saying?
The show told the media that Tatiana and Mark had no idea what they were doing. saying, quote, "They weren't horse people and they weren't show people," unquote. One of the performers who left the show prior to the premiere said that Tatiana was not a good horse rider, but Mark wanted her to be the star of the show.
Feeding into like a kind of narcissism.
Over the next few years, Tatiana and Mark had a rough time in their marriage. Divorce proceedings were initiated.
Of course they were.
Twice, but the couple reconciled both times. In May 2015, they opened a cycling studio in Solana Beach, but the business abruptly closed in 2016. In 2017,
another failed business adventure or business venture. This chick is athletic. Jeez. Holy F. Sounds like my dad, but with more money. Oh my gosh. I just got to show these videos to you guys because, you know, we got to be reminded, man. We got to be reminded.
The couple was featured on the Showtime series Naked Sanctum. The show followed the adventures of people who joined the elite Beverly Hills sex club.
Like, then, okay, so she's married to this guy, and now they're in a reality show about joining a sex club, an elite sex club in Beverly Hills. Like, what the hell is even that, you know? Bro, imagine paying nearly $10K a month to a chick while she's getting piped down by some other dude. I don't have the stomach. I know, man. I know.
Do you have the stomach?
I just... Her Chad jaw of doom. The worst part is that she's a 5. It's really weird. It's like some pictures she looks really attractive. Other pictures she looks not so attractive. All right, moving in. Gosh, like, where are the kids at in this whole time, you know?
The show followed the adventures of people who joined the elite Beverly Hills sex club, Sanctum, which they spell SNCTM.
You know, this is what happens when you get married to a dowerless woman. You know, if anything, I'm sure these guys could have had their fun with her or with a woman like her some other way. You know, but instead they're like, hey, let's get the court involved in our lives. I have $26 million. Let's get married. You don't have anything? Oh, you got child support coming in? I mean, she was probably lying to him about a lot of things, but, you know, who knows? Maybe she's holding the truth and they still did it.
This club, which opened in 2013, is supposedly the most exclusive in the world. The membership requirements for the club are different for men and women. Men pay up to $35,000 a year and can have any level of attractiveness. Women do not pay anything to join, but they must be attractive.
Okay, $35,000 a year. You don't have to be attractive. Women just be attractive.
On the show, Tatiana and Mark revealed that sex was central to their relationship and talked about pushing the limits. This sex-focused philosophy didn't work out too well for the couple. In May 2023...
Okay, yeah, so sex is just so important to me.
The couple separated.
And then it just, yep, there you go.
And during the next month, Tatiana filed for divorce.
Of course she did. I mean, she just knows the system so well. She got $5,000 the first time, $9,000 the second time. Nobody's mentioned alimony or any other part of the settlements, by the way, which we know she got. We know she got something, but okay. Alpha Chad getting crap tested into the gutter. Very much so. I tried that sex club. Not enough syphilis for me. Oh, gosh.
In court filings,
she wanted higher dopamine hits. Yes, it was never going to be enough. And this is just a story of men enabling us, you know, this woman.
And during the next month, Tatiana filed for divorce. In court filings, Tatiana seemed to be very focused on getting spousal support. She claimed that her realistic expenses were $12,000 a month.
$12,000. So this is separate from child support, by the way. Sounds like she didn't have a kid with this other guy. But she had the 2 prior kids, which she's getting child support from. And then she was trying to get a big spousal support payoff. All right. So, I mean, listen, we're just casually listening to a story about a woman who uses the family court to, like, just, you know, get what she can from men, right? This is the no-fault divorce era.
Which was much less than she was accustomed to. Tatiana had been spending $50,000 a month when she was living with Mark.
See, this is the lifestyle. So this guy's spending $50,000 a month on this on this wife. And she says her her minimum expenses are at least $12,000 a month of upkeep. So this is your high maintenance woman here.
She requested the court to set her spousal support to $15,000 a month.
Man, is this her without makeup, or is it just the bad resolution? Because this is looking really like this. Okay, and she wanted $15,000 a month.
She requested the court to set her spousal support to $15,000 a month, $35,000 less than usual.
Okay. Okay, so she's giving him a deal. Listen, instead of giving me $50,000, just give me $15,000. Just, it's cool. It's cool. I'm going to do you a favor. Okay? I'm not a gold digger. Let's just call it even though you should be giving me $50,000 a month. Just give me $15,000 a month, okay?
I have no dowry. If anything, I have a negative dowry.
Child support might be running out, therefore spousal support. Oh gosh. She is a pair bond victim. That's a dude. She is a 305. She graduated from 304. Oh man.
This austerity budget was $35,000 less than usual. This austerity budget would still allow her to live a life of luxury. Tatiana said it was required to pay for a personal assistant, drivers, and bodyguards.
Personal assistant, drivers, and bodyguards. My gosh.
It's not clear why she needed any of these people. For instance, what was the personal assistant going to do?
Imagine living in a really safe neighborhood and like these are just all things that she hired some scumbag attorney, frankly, and the scumbag attorney's like, let's list all these things to try to get maximum, spousal support.
Help her to better manage her time being unemployed. Now moving to the timeline of the crime. On July 2,
It gets worse, guys. It gets worse.
23, Mark's house in Del Mar, California, was damaged by fire. Later, it would sell for $4 million less than expected, so the damage was significant. When the police confronted Tatiana, she was in the position
Sorry, guys.
Possession of 3 firearms, which was significant. When the police confronted Tatiana, she was in the possession of 3 firearms. They arrested her for firearm-related offenses. She was not arrested for arson, at least not yet.
Gosh, there goes a metaphor. Oh gosh. So now she's out here. She's got no job. She's getting all this money, and she's running around with guns, lighting houses on fire, allegedly. Like, what the hell is going on? You know what I mean? Dude, Avalanche is right. I was paying almost $2,000 a month financing my ex's lifestyle, meaning her new boyfriend, and vacations galore. Wow. Yeah, and people they're probably posting that stuff on social media, or you're hearing about it, from the kids or whatever. So it's like, yeah, it's a it's pseudo alimony, and it's also a wealth transfer. Wait a minute, was that $2,000 a month alimony or child support? She slept with all of them. A bodyguard, just smile at the attacker and he'll bail. I was just about to type crazy scary.
July 3, the police received information that Tatiana was attempting to hire someone to kill.
Let me tell you, man, and we've talked about this on the channel multiple times. This woman is like a crazy narcissist. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy for us to talk about that and be like, oh yeah, they're a narcissist, they're bad. But when a narcissist focuses their power on you, they are so good at blowing up your ego to make you feel like you're just like the greatest man on earth. And that is like their trick. That's what they do. You know what I mean? That's like what the succubus does. And then when they have you just living in la la land is when they really do the rug pull and the bait and switch comes in. She for sure is one of those types of women. I'm sure we've all met somebody like that once in our lives, looking back. It was alimony because I had the kids 100%, but it's still a gut punch regardless. Oh yeah, so now you're taking care of all the kids and you got to pay $2,000 to her for literally no reason at all. Gosh, man. Did you try to get child support from her? I mean, I'm part of me would have thought about doing that to get some of that back, but
her estranged husband, Mark. She had offered a friend $2 million to hire. On the next day, July 3, the police received information that Tatiana was attempting to hire someone to kill her estranged husband, Mark.
Wow. Huh. I wonder why that is. I wonder if it's because if the divorce wasn't fully through yet, if the husband would have been, eliminated, then possibly she would like get the house to herself and then could sell it and get all the money. Like, what was the play here?
She had offered a friend $2 million to take him out.
Where's she going to get the $2 million from? Like, once I sell the house and I sell it for $20 million, I'm going to give you the $2 million. That's the plan. That's the plan. She owes me child support, but I won't take her to court for it because I don't want her in our lives, nor do the kids. I hear you, man. I hear you. A lot of people kind of end up doing that. And they're just like, I'll take the piece instead of getting the money. But hey, depending on what state you live in, she might owe interest on that. So the longer that exists as an amount she owes you, then you can go in anytime you want to the court and say, hey, I want my child support, and they will charge her plus the interest for all the time she hasn't paid you. No pressure. If you want to share your state with me, even you can always do that privately, and I can see if there's interest on back pay. Just letting you know, in case she ever tried to get, a little snarky with you. You know what I'm saying? Then you could go in there with your order, go into the child support agency that I know your county has and say, hey, how you doing? Let me get that case open and pack it. Oh, I already have an order. Yeah, she owes me money from way back. And then the child support officer is going to be like, okay. And they're going to open up accounts and be like, oh, how much interest does she owe? Oh, wow. The effective date was from 2004. Yeah, she owes you a lot of interest, so just a tidbit there. Okay, back to the story. So now we're hiring a hitman. Okay, so this guy's got to take it the worst now.
Presumably, she would use Mark's money to pay this friend because Tatiana did not have $2 million. The police arranged for Tatiana to meet with an undercover officer posing as a hitman. This meeting occurred on August 2.
Wow. So she ends up meeting with the undercover officer as the hitman.
2023 at a Starbucks in Solana Beach. Tatiana told the officer that she wanted Mark to be murdered. Later,
wow.
In a deposition, she
some of these pictures
stated that she had wanted Mark to be murdered. Later, in a deposition, she stated that she had asked the hitman to decapitate him. Tatiana was arrested and charged with solicitation to commit murder, having a concealed firearm in a vehicle, and carrying a loaded firearm. On December 28, 2023, she pleaded guilty to solicitation to commit murder. The firearm-related...
What was that guy's crime? Paying for all her crap? Entertaining all of her, weird business ideas that are just disasters? Probably paid for this photo right here, too.
Charges were dismissed in accordance with the solicitation to commit murder. The firearm-related charges were dismissed in accordance with the plea agreement. Tatiana was sentenced to a term of...
Oh my God, here's the mugshot. I forgot about this photo. This one is bad. This one is bad. I'm sorry. I know that's a loud sound effect, but oh my gosh. Millions of dollars we're talking about here.
3 years and 8 months in prison. Agreement. Tatiana was sentenced to a term of 3 years and 8 months in prison.
3 years and 8 months, huh? I guess that sounds like a commensurate amount of time for the crime, but, I don't know.
She was released just over a year later.
Okay, so she didn't even serve the full time. Oh, man. Oh, man. Man, I was so petty to get as much money back when it was established. I'm not the father. I went after her for 7 years until she inherited enough to pay me off. Good, man. Honestly, good, bro. And especially what happened to you. That's so ridiculous, man. Faces of meth. Yeah, that may have been a factor. Okay, she's a 2, not a 5. I get it, but peace is so much more valuable to me. I'm just glad to be done with her and completely at the end of this coming March. Heck yeah, man. Well, shout out to you, man. That's something to celebrate right there. That's, you know, that's good, man. Shout out to you, Luke, man, honestly. Wow, that's scary. A man would get life in prison. Yeah, I know. That's what it sounds like. They kind of gave her a slap on the wrist. I mean, she hired a hitman. You know what I mean? And then wanted the guy to decapitate her husband. Like, what is going on here? You'd think with all that money, she could have bought herself a personality.
January 2025. With her new, she was released just over a year later in January 2025. With her newfound freedom, Tatiana was excited about her future and had big plans.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure the plan is something like find another rich guy and extort his money.
She claimed that she signed a deal with Netflix to film a docuseries about her life.
That sounds like a complete fantasy.
Tatiana also started an OnlyFans account and was writing a book, despite having a lot of animosity toward her estranged husband, Mark.
You know, I wonder what the book would be about. Probably be about her being like, oh, suffering in all these marriages and her being the victim. The sad part about it, though, is probably a bunch of women would buy it. That might have been the one business venture that could have possibly worked for her. The kids and I are going to throw a party at the end of March. Heck yeah, man. Shout out to that. That sounds like a great idea.
Tatiana wanted to reconcile with him.
No, okay, so now she wants to reconcile with the guy she hired to
film
hitman.
a docuseries about her life. Tatiana also started an OnlyFans account.
Oh, God. See, I didn't even hear that the first time. Okay, so now we're on OnlyFans. All right, here we go.
A book. Despite having a lot of animosity toward her estranged husband, Mark, Tatiana wanted to reconcile with him.
Man, nothing has made a Lambo look so uncool to me than this.
This reconciliation never happened.
Probably good that the reconciliation didn't happen.
Because of the solicitation to commit murder part.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that Mark was comfortable with his head being attached to his body. In September 2025, Tatiana once again found herself in trouble with the law. She was finally charged with arson for the fire at Mark's house over.
Oh, wow. So they finally proved she caused the fire.
2 years earlier. The court released Tatiana on bail.
Oh, gosh.
She was scheduled to appear in court in March 2026. As it turns out, she would never make it back to court. On December 18, 2025, 45-year-old Tatiana Remley was at the Princess Pub and Grill at 523 West Date Street in San Diego. At 8:47 p.m., she walked outside the bar where she sustained a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Wow. She was pronounced dead at 9:02 p.m. About 2 hours earlier, she had communicated with her estranged husband, Mark, indicating that the guy she was with was being a jerk.
Man, this kind of woman would be nothing but just constant torture to it. Like, this is the kind of woman you have to do the whole no contact and not talk to her, no matter how much you want to talk to her. You know what I mean? Like, literally, she's still talking to this ex-husband that she hired a hitman to kill, and she's talking about her being on a date with another guy. I get it, man. Some women are succubuses. I get it, man. It's like, you know, but you have to pull away from it, man, as hard as you can. Yo, Caesar Quintana, man, shout out to you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Maybe those guys were just not hitting it right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they just weren't hitting it right. They just didn't hold masculine frame correctly. You know, if they would have just known how to pass the shit test, the house wouldn't have caught on fire. Thank you, man, for the super chat, man. I appreciate that a lot, Caesar. Let us know. I'll pour. Oh, exactly. Yeah. I'll pour me a whiskey and toast to your freedom. Exactly. Yeah. Let us know. I'll keep that in mind in March. No contact is the only way after a woman that sucks the life. Yeah, it's the only way. It's like, you got to give up the drug addiction, man.
Mark told her that he could call 911 if she was in trouble. Tatiana responded, "No, I got this." Now moving to
And of course, nothing was really wrong. I mean, she walked out of the bar. The guy was just being a jerk. Like, he was just like, screw you, lady. Pay for your own drink. And then to her, it was like the end of the world. I mean, well, you know what I mean? Like, not to make light of it, but yeah, it just, you know. Yeah. They should have prayed more with her. Klaus! That one was good. That one was good, man. That was good.
analysis. There is little doubt that Tatiana was guilty of solicitation to commit murder. She was caught by an undercover officer and later pleaded guilty. As far as the arson, the evidence against her has never been made public, but it is reasonable to believe that she was guilty of that crime as well. The mystery in this case isn't about guilt. Rather, it's about what motivated Tatiana. This brings me to the question, what do I think happened in this case?
Right. They didn't Jesus enough, right? Yeah, it's just, oh my gosh.
This is just a theory, my opinion. Tatiana Remley had a difficult childhood.
I mean, listen, everybody's got a sad story, if you look hard enough, but this doesn't excuse completely abusing people, using people, hiring hitmen, putting a house on, you know what I mean? It's just, sure.
He may have been mistreated at various times. Between the ages of 9 and 20, she was relatively isolated, living in a rural community with her parents. They did not send her to school. The highest level she completed was the 4th grade.
That's irresponsible. That's going to be a bad on the parents' part right there.
Later, Tatiana earned a GED, but nothing could make up for missing so much school during her formative years. She was denied critical socialization opportunities. In this lonely position, Tatiana developed several characteristics associated with narcissism. She was self-centered.
There you go. Okay, and this is Dr. Todd Grande telling us she's a narcissist.
Arrogant, grandiose, associated with narcissism. She was self-centered, arrogant, grandiose, attention-seeking, falsely believed she was special, and had a sense of entitlement.
Let me tell you, too, like if you're stuck with the narcissist in your life, it's hard to pull away. But I promise you, if you do, you're going to live to see the disaster that it becomes for them. Like anybody that's like this is going to walk themselves into a catastrophe eventually. And you're going to be grateful when you're not involved in that. You know what I mean? It's like they can't keep this going forever. Like there's going to be a catastrophe. You know what I mean? That is bad on the parents. But a person has to take responsibility for themselves at some point. No excuses. Yeah, I mean, listen, could you imagine if a man was had some story? She got her GED, she could have turned it around. She could have self-improved. She could have hit the self-improvement, hamster wheel. Went to community college, figured it out. The fact is that she didn't want to work. She had all the money in the world. She had no job. She could have gone to school. She was making enough money. She was extorting enough money on child support to be able to do this. She chose not to do that. So people just kept enabling her. Hell, she probably didn't even want to go to school as a kid. And her parents were like, oh, okay, fine. You don't have to go to school. I don't know. I don't know what the story is. So it's just like, it's just, yes, there's some things were bad, but if it was a guy, they'd have been like, so figure it out. You know what I mean? If only her husband had served her harder, she wouldn't have been forced to try to take him out. Exactly. If only if he would have been a better servant leader, she wouldn't have needed to hire a hitman. And then ask the hitman to decapitate him, by the way. I'm still waiting for karma to catch up. Yeah, I mean, I get it. And I know it sounds like maybe even a kind of cope to say that. But like anybody that has this kind of behavior pattern, it's just a matter of time. Like if they're bad for you, they're going to be bad for, whatever they touch out there. Wait, you can't tell a woman to step up. Yeah, how dare you?
She had dreams of being wealthy and famous and was willing.
Yeah, I mean, once you had the GED, you could have went to the school, the community. She had all the support. She was living in Beverly Hills. She was getting $9,000 a month for her personal play money while she was married to a guy that had millions of dollars. Like, there's no excuse.
To take advantage of people to meet those goals. When Tatiana grew old enough to go to work, she realized that she did not have any marketable skills.
So go get some marketable skills.
Tried working in a conventional job for a short time, but didn't even make enough to pay taxes. And around this time, Tatiana realized that she actually did have a skill which could be converted into money. Namely, she could manipulate men through sex. This was really the only skill she possessed that could supply a luxurious lifestyle. Her lack of education and socialization did not give her any other options. Tatiana decided to make the most of her ability by targeting...
I'm sorry. Oh my God. At the tune of $10K a month, she could have financed her own school. Yeah, there's no excuses, man. She could have did school at home. She could have did some online schooling. She could have hired a private tutor. You know what I'm saying? Like, she had more than enough money. There's no excuse here.
very wealthy men. Tatiana decided to make the most of her ability by targeting very wealthy men. She was not interested in men of normal means. Rather, she wanted to hit it big, to live a life of luxury. During social interactions, Tatiana was described as...
I won't play the scream sound effect. I know I'm going to have to put the decibels down on that.
...the life of the party. She attracted a lot of attention, especially from men. They seemed to be particularly interested in her willingness to have sex with them. Tatiana started a romantic relationship with a man, had a daughter, separated from him, and collected child support. She used this money to fund her lifestyle.
Yep, there it is. There it is. I put that down. Where can I find a rich woman? I need a fat dowry. Oh gosh. Yeah, and if they would have understood that about her, like she would have just been relegated to community property. But you know, it was 2004. It was a different time. Guys with $26 million didn't know about, you know, the JUCO. So, you know.
Later, Tatiana married Kenneth, and they had a son together. She separated from Kenneth and collected more child support.
How can this guy keep a straight face? That's like part of the charm of the channel. Like, he has a very funny, dry humor. Where can I find a rich woman? I need a fat dowry. Yeah.
Not surprisingly, she used these payments to maintain her life of luxury, which eventually included driving a Lexus and having horses. After 3 failed attempts to secure a new lover/source of revenue, Tatiana met Mark Remley. He was everything that she wanted. That is, he was rich. The central focus of the relationship...
The parents somewhere in there must have been like, Mark, son, that ain't right what you're doing. This ain't right, you know? But when they said he inherited $26 million, his parents might have been passed away.
Was sex. He was rich. The central focus of the relationship was sex. The sexual activity is what kept the couple together. Tatiana had an intense sex drive and a willingness to experiment. Finding employment was of no interest to Tatiana. She was happy to have Mark fund her lifestyle. She flat out refused to go to work. In the romantic
refused to go to work.
Relationship with Mark, Tatiana maintained a position of dominance. She was able to get pretty much anything she wanted from him. For instance, Mark bought her a polo team. $100,000.
Could you imagine like being on a polo team and then suddenly this woman walks in and she's like in charge and starts like using whatever the hell her imagination tells her about polo? So suddenly you guys are all out here trying to play polo and now you got to take direction from this lady because her like rich husband bought the team. You're just like, probably time to find another polo team. That or just charge a large ass amount of money for me to be there. I think the dowry system needs to be reestablished. Not realistic, however. Totally get it, man. And those that don't have a dowry can go to the brothels that will also be legalized, or Saint Nick can save them. Exactly. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. And the beautiful thing about the dowry conversation is it gives justification for men to say no. Men can say no and can provably demonstrate how a given marriage proposal is fundamentally a bad deal that is not worth taking. So even if the system can't be reestablished, it can be used to push back, you know, against those that want us to take a bad deal. So that to me is a big deal there. She just wanted to pray with every player in the locker room, one-on-one.
Tatiana believed that she was going to be the star player.
Oh my God. Okay, so she's playing polo with them. What you're talking about, polo team, etc., same stuff with racehorses and women. My dad was a veterinarian. Horsewomen are some of the worst. You know, I've heard that before. I've heard that. Horsewomen are a very particular, and this woman was a horsewoman, so, gosh.
Falling off a horse she never played polo again. The star player. After falling off a horse, she never played polo again.
Okay, yeah.
Tatiana and Mark launched their horse circus, or whatever that was supposed to be. Again, the star of the show.
I don't know why this kind of, maybe not as bad, but it sort of reminds me of, what is that, Prince Harry and, well, former Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, like, where she, like, does these shows on, like, Netflix, or, like, it's, like, cooking shows, and they invite people, but they're, like, not really that good. It kind of has a little, I mean, there's, you know, not a lot of parallels. This is kind of something else, but it's a little bit of that in there, you know?
Was Tatiana. The dominance that she maintained in the relationship was on display here as well. During opening night, she wed Mark around by a belt that was around his neck. The horse show.
Yeah, I mean, he could have just hired a dominatrix or something. You know, this, you know what I mean?
She wed Mark around by a belt that was around his neck. The horse show failed for a variety of reasons, including the fact that Tatiana had no riding skills, at least not when it came to horses.
Oh gosh, I have an ick for horsewomen. I like Porsche women better.
Your dowry, it's my right.
That's because you're based, Klaus. Shout out to Klaus.
After this disaster, Tatiana and Mark ran a cycling studio that failed before appearing in the Showtime series Naked Sanctum.
Gosh, so 2 failed businesses. Now you're out here on some kind of a reality show about being part of a sex club.
This gave Tatiana the opportunity for more exposure. She loved being the center of attention. Despite appearing in the series, Tatiana did not become popular. There was no fame and fortune. Over time, Tatiana experienced a series of losses. She lost custody of both her children. Her relationship with Mark disintegrated, and eventually
lost custody of both of her children. Okay, so if she lost custody, then that means the child support would have stopped for her, basically, and that's why she had to go for this big score from this last guy. Okay,
her children, her relationship with Mark disintegrated, and eventually she lost her freedom. After being released from prison, Tatiana went back to her old ways. Her mission was to attract men based on sex and nothing else. Her relationships were shallow and unfulfilling, unable to replicate her past
these pictures
success as far as finding men who would give her anything she wanted. Tatiana became depressed. She felt unfulfilled. The vigorous use of her sexuality was no longer achieving her objectives.
Okay, you know, it sounds a little bit like a wall, you know, kind of hitting a wall.
On top of that, Tatiana was facing an arson charge, which could have landed her in prison for another 8 years. Nothing was going her way.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, look at that. Look at that.
Future was bleak. Shockingly, Tatiana's final act was held in public, something that is quite rare. Perhaps this was her last bid to get the attention she so desperately craved. Those are my thoughts on the case of Tatiana.
Tekka says, bet she was on SSRIs. Yeah, it's very possible. Very possible.
Tatiana Remley, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. In this case, there is no doubt that Tatiana Remley is the bad guy. She is the villain of the story. She tried to hire someone to kill her estranged husband, and she may have set fire to his house. Either way, it's tough to look at Tatiana as only a perpetrator. I think there is room for mercy and compassion in this case. I've seen many cases like this over the years.
Man, that wall
a woman
was hard.
Decides that she is going to make her living through manipulating wealthy men. And invariably, she performs all kinds of bad acts and gets in trouble.
And then they hit a point where it's just not working as well anymore.
But the men really...
Now, this lady, to be fair, made it to her mid to late 40s, so...
Never seem to be the acts and gets in trouble. But the men really never seem to be the focus of any of the blame. In reality, maybe not specifically in this case, but in some cases, the men are enabling women like this. The men...
They certainly are, you know, but, you know, they all know what they're going after.
Give them all the money they want. They meet every desire the women can buy.
Yeah, I mean, Feng Yuan Daoisku, shout out to you, man. Thanks for being here. Is this the famous psychologist who always wants to negate male experience? I know him for quite a long time. Yeah, I mean, you know, City Crusher reacted to some Dr. Grande, and he, you know, there is some of that in there, but the stories are so crazy that, like, it's just obvious what happened, you know. I like his stuff, though. I like his stuff. And now he shifts the blame to men. I know. But no, yeah, he's right. In the beginning of the rant, what he's right about is saying that she was the villain of the story. Yes, the men were simps. That's true. The men were simps. But no, they were also the victims, okay? So no, she was the bad person. She was the perpetrator. She was the predator. She was all the bad things. So I'm just
all kinds of items from stores with no restrictions. The women can buy all kinds of items from stores with no restrictions. There's a materialistic element there that is being fulfilled. It's not a positive situation. It's not a positive structure. So, yes, the woman is being manipulative, but the man has a hand in it too.
Sure. But the woman's definitely being predatory and manipulative.
I tend to look at these cases as involving people on both sides who did something unwise. It takes two to tango.
That's true. Unwise.
Yeah. I think that Tatiana may have turned out a lot differently if she was never enabled.
Well, I don't know.
She was never able to get her way by manipulating men.
Maybe. She probably would have just went full on into the monetized dating marketplace, you know. I can't help but think of Coach as community property.
She still needs to be responsible for her part, but it seems pretty obvious that there are two pieces to the equation, and kind of unfair that only one side ever gets blamed.
Well, okay, but the other side didn't do anything criminal. You know what I mean? Like, the men weren't out here hiring hitmen and arson, all these kinds of things. They were just being stupid. So the person who did all the illegal stuff should be blamed. But yes, the other guys were unwise. And in some way, yes, that should be called out. I hear that. They were definitely dummies. And they definitely, you know, put their hand in the hole and got bit by the snake. Some of them more than once. You know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Well, how's that? You know, you can't get fooled again. But yeah, you know, come on, man. I clearly remember this bloody chap because of his panache with the smug face and his board certified degree, which he keeps touting. I hear you, man. But the videos are like pretty interesting. Yeah, it's the guy's fault. He had so much gold to dig. Exactly. Yeah, this part of the video, it sounded like he edited this in after he recorded the rest, because earlier in the video, he was like, thanks for joining me. And then there's like this other 2 minutes that he put in afterwards. So that's a little odd. But yes, those guys are some dummies. There's no getting around that. That's true. But no, yeah, she was the bad person. And from his French cut beard, which he never changed. Yeah, I won't listen to this dude. He's laying the blame on men. We need to call out simps, but you can't blame them completely when the whole of society forces that on men. Yeah, exactly. And men, listen, it was 2004, you know, for some of these guys, like, men hadn't had the chance to compare notes yet, you know, but you got to remember, they're supposed to be the providers and the they were supposed to step up and help this single mom, you know what I'm saying? They were just this is what the tradcons told them to do. You know what I mean? All of society told them to do that. But yeah, no, they were definitely simping though. Men are the ones who get blamed 99% of the time, but in this case, they shouldn't have been wearing such tight skirts, I guess. I wouldn't even call it stupid. It's more naivete. Yeah, that's a better word for that. This guy's Transformer girlfriend threatened to chop off his... which guy? Let's see the comments on this one, actually. Let's see if there's man blaming in the comments. Amazing what makeup can hide. Thank you, Dr. G. Yeah, that's true. He was everything she wanted. He was rich. Had no riding skills, at least not when it came to horses. She is extremely skilled at applying makeup. Imagine being worth 30 million and using it on this kind of woman. Don't give me 30 million. Yeah, man. Nothing sympathetic about her at all. She just looks like an unhinged narcissist train wreck who preyed on socially inept wealthy men. This chick is 100% authentically fake. She had several chances to live her dream, but she would get too greedy and lose her meal ticket. I hope her children are thriving wherever they ended up. Sounds like they ended up back with their fathers. How can you serve only 1 year for solicitation of murder? Yeah, see, at least not when it came to horses, LOL. 5,000 a month child support, 4,000 a month child support. Oh my gosh. Unbelievably lenient sentence for attempted murder. That's what it sounded like to me. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Some people are attracted to young, dumb, and pretty dangerous. For those people, intelligence is not an asset. It looks like she had riding skills with rich men. I'm guessing Mark was comfortable with his head being attached to his body. The Sanctum Club is so exclusive that I wouldn't dare touch any of the members, even with the 20-foot pole. Ick. I can't believe after all these Dr. Grande videos, crimes are still happening. Huga, that second picture is rough. Then I saw the third one. Then I saw the mugshot. Ouch. She sounds like someone who never knew true joy. She found happiness in sex, but that doesn't last. She believed herself to be beautiful, but had no inner beauty. She wanted luxury, but died on a dirty street corner by her own hand. She failed at most things she tried. She never found fame, lost her family, lost her freedom, lost her looks, and her life. Sad story, sad end. She was 45 going on 70. Dr. Grande has the most deadpan sense of humor on earth. The one thing I take away from this video is from a small part of the story. There is no such thing as a hitman you can hire online. They're all law enforcement. Beauty is only skin deep, while ugliness goes clear to the soul. An old and reaffirmed truth that Miss Tatiana Remley would have been wise to learn. A lesson that is by no means new, but one that bears constant repeating, even in the Twilight Zone. Just another example of how superficial qualities don't make for happiness or success. Okay, man, we'll have to save the other video for, maybe another time. Man, you know what? This calls for a Deadbeat Woman song right here. Let's go ahead and get Deadbeat Woman to see us out. Deadbeat Woman. This is some real Deadbeat Woman stuff right here. If I ever heard it, Oh my gosh, guys. That was too much. That was too much. That was too freaking much. That's like saying it's also the woman's fault for getting... Yeah, this is some victim blaming. She was dressed provocatively. Yeah, I mean, listen, definitely the guys were naive. I like Klaus's word. What I have clearly understood from listening men expatiate their pain is that they all have a lot in common regardless of social stature and age. Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of archetypal stories here. That is true. What a disaster. So yeah, this is just the reminder of how bad simping can be. And you know what? You guys are right. The men fell into her narcissistic manipulations. They were victims. They were emotionally manipulated. Cyclo, I think you're right there with your comparison. Shout out to y'all, man. So terrible. Woman. Deadbeat woman. Well, folks, we made it to another end of the week. Hope everybody has a good week coming up and enjoys and has a fantastic and safe New Year. I plan to not be outside for New Year's. I plan to be inside, where I'm just gonna stay gaming and doing whatever it is that I do, like read about the dowry, things like that. So that's what I'm gonna be doing. And probably watching some movies or so. So I hope everybody, whatever y'all decide to do, it's fun and safe. And next week I'll have a collab. I might do a stream in the middle of the day around 12 on Saturday because of the collab, and then I'll try to do the second stream. I might cancel the nightly stream if the collab takes a lot of energy. So I just putting it that way, just so y'all know. Oh, you're right. Last stream of the year, W stream. It is, man. Happy New Year to everybody, man. 2025 was a hell of a year, man, and here's to 2026 being full of, amazing things also, man. God help us all. God bless us all. Thanks, Shah. Night, y'all. Take it easy, man. It's good to see you. It's bad she's not attractive anymore. No born-again Christian route open like that. Yeah, and she had the OnlyFans, too. You guys have a great week. Thank you, Luke, man. Shout out to you. Send us off with Luke's Driving Off Alone. Man, I don't know if I have that saved. I might need to. Dang it! I gotta look for that in the Discord again, man. I'm so sorry. You know what? How about we play "Better Get My Dowry" from Mad Villainy. We got Gold Pill Dreams, Curb Appeal with the club mix. How y'all feeling there? Chow, take it easy, Aura, man. Thanks for being here. Here's to a great New Year's to you all, man. Thank you. It's on the SoundCloud. Damn it. I really got to freaking save the... that's the audio.com. I got to save the links, man. I got to save the links. I'm so sorry. If you want to put it in the Discord right now, that would help me. Oh, there we go. Mr. Pitt put it in the link. That's perfect. Okay, yeah. Driving Off Alone, incoming. There we go. We got it. Shout out to Luke Nielsen. That's a great picture of Coach. That's from the Hafiz debate. He was ambushed, man. Oh my God. This is what dudes are out here smashing for free. Bro, I don't have the stomach. Oh my God. Shout out to Luke Nielsen for this, man. The Shah Squad. I'm bookmarking this. We're gonna save this one next to the other songs. We had a pretty damn good run tonight, man. I'd say so. Here's to great New Year's to you all. Thank you so much, man. Ciao. Great stream as always. Have a peaceful evening, everybody. Shout out to y'all. Thank you so much, Mr. Pitt. Gotta catch the replay. Yo, Mad Villainy, shout out to you, brother. I think you'll enjoy it. Today was a fun stream, man. I enjoyed this stream. Shout out to Cesar Quintana. Thank you again for the super chat, man. Very generous of you. Bookmark the album so you can see all the songs. Oh, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, perfect. The Shah Squad. Oh, I got that one bookmarked. Okay, that's good. I'll just keep this up. I'll just keep this up. Oh, that's perfect, man. That's perfect. Thank you, Mr. Pitt. Yo, this song is tight right here, man. Good suggestion, Mr. Pitt. Yeah, exactly. Klaus got it. Klaus could be playing this out of the Porsche on the Autobahn at night, man. Guten Tag. AI music is scary good, man. I actually want to blast this out of my car with the windows down, man. This is great. I'm actually gonna listen to this like over and over again. But yeah, man, I'll let y'all go. Shout out to everybody. So we'll get some more content, man. I'm gonna get back to making the standalones. I promise y'all. And we got plenty of collabs coming down the pipeline. So we're gonna have some fun times, man. Shout out to everybody. Have a fantastic night. And we'll catch you on the next one. Shout out Mr. Pitt. I bump this track all the time. Well, I'm about to be myself, man. Take it easy, y'all. Have a fantastic evening, morning, day, or evening, wherever it happens to be.